Picture giving your all in the ring, only to get bodied by a cheating scumbag. Broke, powerless, and 1 second away from being wiped out of existence. You probably call it quits, right? But this is where it gets good. A completely OP system drops out of nowhere for him. Suddenly, the underdog copies any cracked skill just by watching. Talking about the 7 divine elements, he maxed out every single one. You know those rich prodigies who love stepping on the little guy? Well, the biggest anomaly in this world just wiped the floor with them. Grab a seat, cause this dude's glow up is gonna blow your mind. Kicking off the training session with a heavy strike, our boy lands a clean hit on his buddy. Right after that, he delivers a perfect punch straight to his partner's gut. During the exchange, he spots an opening and strikes the guy's stomach. Holding his stomach, the kid complains about the pain while everyone else practices in the background. Astonished, he asks if the diamond fist is already at the subtle level. Soo-hong nods, confirming he reached that stage just 2 days ago. There are 5 mastery levels: entry, subtle, proficient, success, and perfection. Giving a thumbs up, his friend claims no one in the room can beat him, but our boy's already asking for another round, giving 0 time to breathe. Spooked, the guy calls him a maniac and runs off to grab dinner at home. Leaving the gym, he says goodbye to the teacher who tells him to bundle up. That instructor walks over and asks about the upcoming martial arts exam. 30,000 is the fee that needs to be paid by next Monday. Asking for an extension, the NC gets told the rules are strict and there's no room for debate. Nightfall hits, leaving the whole place completely silent. Standing alone in the middle of the court, he feels deeply stressed about the situation. All he can think about right now is that missing 30,000. 17 years ago, he lost his parents during a massive beast attack. His aunt and uncle took him in, giving full support after noticing his talent. In this era of monsters, being a martial artist was the real moneymaker. He wanted to provide a good life for his family, yet feels like he's just holding them back. Through the empty streets, he makes his way back home that night. Back inside, his aunt tells him to ignore the rent and focus on the exam. She fully believes her nephew's talent shouldn't go to waste. Hearing the uncle suggest cutting back on meds, she refuses and promises to work extra shifts. Our boy walks down the hallway looking super down. Rubbing his face, he tries to hide his sadness before walking in. "I'm home," he announces, while his aunt asks what took him so long. Despite wanting to help with the chores, his relatives insist he goes to rest. Moonlight spills through the bedroom window, lighting up everything. Lying there, he decides it's finally his turn to fix things. To get that kind of cash fast, he only knows one possible spot. Soo-hong heads over to this modern building hidden in the woods the next day. Deep inside, an announcer kicks off a high-stakes survival tournament. Calling the next fighter, she introduces some guy named Bullhead. 60,000 is the prize for winning 4 matches in a row. A few folks in the crowd think the rookie is just asking to get clowned. Prompting him, the host asks him to get lively and hype up the audience. Completely clueless, he gets a hint that he needs to trash talk and provoke them. "I'm invincible," the masked kid shouts, calling everyone else a bunch of weaklings. That sends the crowd into a frenzy, torn between booing and cheering. With the mob screaming, the competition officially begins. He locks in on his goal, hoping his diamond fist is enough to handle this. A dude with a rat mask jumps into the ring wanting to go first. Scanning his rival, Soo-hong notices the guy's stance is completely sloppy. This human rat charges and screaming, asking why the MC is just standing there. Prepping a counter, the boy readies an open palm strike. The floating light palm just wrecks his opponent's jaw. Sent flying, the guy crosses the ring without even a chance to react. And this is where it gets good. He immediately asks for the next one while the crowd cheers. Shouts of "he's cracked" fill the arena after that effortless win. Stepping in, another masked fighter warns the kid that his luck just ran out. Eager to test his own strength, Soo-hong accepts the fresh challenge. Instantly, both of them rush at each other, going all out. Their fists clash and the sound of the impact is massive. Shocked by the blow, the rival realizes his strength is mid in comparison. Parrying the punch, he readies a comeback on the spot. Since the enemy is exposed, the kid aims right for his waist. A devastating kick lands perfectly on the opponent's side. Launched across the arena, the fighter gets knocked out cold, leaving the MC amazed at how OP he is. Now victorious again, he watches the fallen opponent as they call for the third match. From up top, you can see the crowd is beyond hyped. A man in a suit spots the kid's potential from his fancy VIP box. After the third win, a blonde guy is already plotting to use him in rigged fights. Then a dude in a fox mask volunteers to crash the party. Thinking back on the fight, the MC realizes his subtle level is cracked enough. One more win is all he needs to secure that 60,000 prize. But check this out, the next opponent is the White Fox. Nobody can believe a near martial artist is about to fight a rookie. Soo-hong knows things just got dead serious, but backing down isn't an option. Staring him down, the white fox gives a look of someone who already won. He tells him not to be scared and promises to go easy. Thus begins the final and most important match of the night. Both of them rush the center of the ring to settle this. Knowing the skill gap is huge, the kid decides to go all out. His punch is heavy, but the fox easily blocks the strike. Right then, Soo-hong senses something is really off about this guy. Man, he suddenly realizes his rival is a legit martial artist. Taking a deep breath, the opponent gets ready to show off his true skills. And that's where it gets crazy. The Thunder Fist lands a direct hit on our boy. Bleeding from the blow, he feels the sheer weight of facing a true master. Everyone in the crowd already assumes Bullhead just got bodied. Taunting nonstop, the masked guy dares the MC to try and hit back. He tries to guard himself, fully aware he's inches away from losing. The fox offers no breaks, keeping up the pressure with rapid-fire strikes. But our tiny opening pops up and the MC doesn't think twice. Out of nowhere, a straight punch blows up right in the opponent's face. Driven by the force of the hit, the opponent gets violently launched backward. Sadly, Soo-hong collapses too, slowly fading out of consciousness. Stepping on the shattered mask, the rival warns he's not winning a dime. A dirty deal drops. He gets the cash if he agrees to throw matches. That masked dude makes it clear that refusing will bring some heavy consequences. Furious, the kid asks if he has zero honor as a martial artist. Then, we have no deal, the scumbag replies with rage in his voice. To finish it all off, he threatens to cripple the kid once and for all. That burning desire to win and protect his family boils in his blood. In a flash, he dodges what was supposed to be the finishing move. Stunned, the masked guy can't wrap his head around how he's still moving. Our boy stands up surrounded by energy, laser-focused on not going down here. No one saw that coming. He's still standing even after taking the Thunder Fist. Soo-hong wonders if he should ditch his honor to save his family. Looking at a broken picture frame, he screams he'll never accept that deal. And just like that, everything changed. A voice pops up asking what he'd sacrifice. With his body glowing, the kid answers he'd give his own life. He's dead set and, wrapped in light, confirms he takes the deal. Right after, he turns into pure light and vanishes in a flash. Waking up in some weird spot with blue pillars, the MC gets super confused. He looks around, trying to figure out where he ended up. Right as front of him appears this giant entity, making the kid shake with fear. The creature warns it'll give him a chance and starts fading away. Suddenly, golden dust covers our boy's body. Catching him off guard, a status screen pops up out of nowhere. He checks the panel, noticing all his stats and skills. By touching the screen, he realizes the system is actually real. Clicking the icon shows a brand new quest waiting for him. The task now is to train and beat the white fox for good. Curious, he wonders what this beginner's guide is all about. Out of nowhere, a white clone of himself spawns right in front. Dodging a surprise attack, he has to defend against his own copy. Our MC notices the clone uses the diamond fist flawlessly. Spotting the opportunity, he decides to learn everything from this fight. He blocks the strikes, gearing up for an intense clash. Fighting himself makes him realize this is a hands-on lesson. But after taking a punch to the gut, he sees this training will be brutal. Stepping back fast, he tries to avoid getting hit by the copy again. A quick glance at the panel shows his mastery jumped from 7 to 10%. Despite getting beat up, he notices he's leveling up way too fast. Going back in, the two trade blows at wild speeds. Mid-fight, the technique mastery already spikes to 23%. Utilizing footwork pushes his progress up to 70 in no time. At this crazy pace, all his skills nearly hit their cap. Hitting 100% instantly levels up the light palm. The air steps also max out, becoming way more cracked. Finishing the session turns his diamond fist into great success tier. Drained, he watches the clone fade away like golden dust. Feeling completely wrecked, he accepts going back to reality after the prompt. He returns to the ring the exact moment he left, staring down the villain. Covered in flames, our MC calls out his rival to settle the score. Wasting no time, he charges in to finish the fight. The fox tries using the Thunder Fist, but the kid dodges effortlessly. Shocked by his speed, the masked dude goes for another quick jab. Except the MC is way faster, shattering his mask with one strike. Without his disguise, the cheater's true identity is revealed to everyone. The crowd in the stands is stunned by this wild turnaround. Seeing his enemy on the ground, our boy completely owns the ring. He looks right at the host, demanding the prize money on the spot. Up in the VIP room, the boss is blown away by the kid's skill level. Suspicious, he orders his goons to follow the MC and find out who he is. Walking through the dark, our boy makes his way back home. Right before heading inside, he senses someone on his tail. Hiding in an alley, the stalkers completely lose sight of him. They start wondering where the kid vanished to so fast. Scaling the buildings, Su-hong mocks how slow those guys are. After shaking everyone off, he sprints across the rooftops under the moonlight. 1 hour later, the neighborhood remains completely silent. Handing the cash to his aunt and uncle, they almost fall over from shock. He sits at the table, making up a story about a dojo sponsorship. With a smile on his face, he asks if they don't trust him. Moved to tears, his relatives believe it and call him a successful man. Later on, he climbs up to the roof to catch a breather. Feeling relaxed, he celebrates paying off the debts and meds. He checks the system, realizing his stats haven't changed at all. A prompt shows up saying he earned points for beating a stronger guy. Testing it out, he dumps everything into vitality. The numbers start climbing, bringing his energy to 90 points. Eyes wide open, he feels massive power coursing through his veins. A fiery aura flares up, proving he just got a major power spike. Now he realizes he finally became a near martial artist. Hyped up, he spends the rest of his points to get even stronger. Lifting his shirt, he notices even his injuries are completely gone. He leaps across the roofs, moving with some crazy agility. Full of confidence, he decides to hit the school and test his strength. Dropping into the center of the arena, he walks up to the testing machine. Right in front of the gear, he gets ready to strike. Using only 70% of his power, he focuses all his energy. His eyes lock onto the target, showing no signs of holding back. The punch is so heavy the meter nearly explodes from the hit. Silently, he stands there waiting to see the result pop up. Seeing smoke pour out, he dips so he doesn't have to pay for repairs. Someone shows up complaining about the noise and he sprints out of there. An old janitor walks in furious, yelling at whoever broke the machine. Thinking of the school bullies, our boy promises to teach them a lesson. The next day, all the students gather up in the gym. Amidst the crowd, the MC spots a classmate with a huge bump on his head. Word goes around that the poor guy took the blame for the busted hardware, and the principal introduces Chen Tian, a master here to teach a new skill. The students go wild since learning this usually costs a fortune. Remembering his fight, the kid realizes it's the exact same move the fox used. He knows right away this is his chance to save thousands of coins. Skipping the fluff, the master says he'll demonstrate the strike 10 times. With a step forward, he preps himself to start the lesson. Every single punch makes a thunderous sound that echoes everywhere. Explaining further, he mentions the highest level drops 7 loud booms. His intimidating presence fills the room as he reveals he already mastered that stage. Wrapping up, he warns everyone not to chase perfection and stick to the basics. He starts over, ordering everyone to try and copy his moves. Hours later, everyone is laid out on the floor, completely exhausted. One of the students complains that learning a rank C skill is way too hard. A guy looks for Su-hong only to realize he already vanished. And this is where it gets good. The school genius nails the first level and everyone loses their minds. Watching the excitement, the principal asks the genius for tips, but the master calls him average. Outside on the stairs, those two have a secret chat. Chen Jian complains about the class, yet the principal says hitting the entry level is already great. Agreeing on one thing, they admit talent is everything and hard work alone doesn't do miracles. But then this massive noise completely grabs their attention. From the courtyard, electric energy flares up as they hear 7 strikes of the Thunder Fist. Stunned, they spot a student hitting the great success level in just half a day. The principal trembles after counting 9 echoes, asking if what he just heard was even real. Right then, the master puts on a serious face, claiming he gets the trick. Clenching his fist, he gathers all that electricity right there. In a swift motion, he drops the Thunder Fist, going all out. Yelling out loud, the principal counts 8 sounds, while the teacher admits the student inspired him. Rushing over in a hurry, they try to find out who this prodigy was. But once they get there, nobody is around anymore. Su-hong walks away, thinking about how training a rank C skill is way more exhausting. Checking the panel, he sees the technique hit perfection and starts looking for more Dao points. That afternoon, he heads over to the Nulai dojo, dead set on leveling up his training. Inside the place, everyone is fully locked in practicing with their spears. A classmate says hi, and our boy mentions he just came to practice a bit. Suddenly, a purple-haired guy completely clowns a student on the floor. This instructor yells that the kid is trash for complaining about the lesson. Hearing this, the friend explains the master is strong but hates average folks. He also warns that this guy's student is an absolute monster too. Weapon ready to strike, the instructor asks if the kid still wants to challenge him. Except a hand grabs his wrist, stopping the attack right on the spot. Holding a tight grip, our MC tells him to chill out and take it easy. Furious, the dude calls him to the ring and our boy accepts. Then the dojo owner shows up yelling, demanding to know what this mess is about. Backing off, the instructor claims the MC just got lucky this time. His eyes on the guy, the kid thinks he's way too full of himself. In front of the class, the master announces this is the final day of training. With his weapon in hand, he demonstrates the spear technique flawlessly, openly. That teacher doubts anyone could learn something just by watching it once. Soo-hong locks in on every single detail of the master's movements. Not missing a thing, his eyes track everything being shown. After finishing, the man slams the spear into the ground with heavy force. He tells them it's their turn now and leaves the room right after. Complaining out loud, the students feel like one single demo was totally unfair. And that's where it gets crazy. Soo-hong realizes the skill mimics an angry dragon. Now armed, he readies himself to show off what he just learned. Water energy wraps around the pole as he executes the move perfectly. That completely leaves the crowd speechless at his insane talent. Suddenly, the purple-haired instructor comes back screaming at everyone. During his rant, he catches our boy glowing with the spear in hand. Intrigued, he admits the kid actually learned it and decides to test him. Stepping right in front of him, the guy offers to give some real pointers. Soo-hong accepts the offer, making the other students clear the floor for the match. His friend warns him not to be crazy, but the MC just tells him to chill. With his spear ready, he prepares to fight for real. Calling the kid cocky, the instructor charges in going all out. Silently, our boy closes his eyes and focuses completely. Opening them back up, he unleashes a power even greater than the master's. That level of mastery leaves the instructor unable to believe his own eyes. Soo-hong strikes using the spear technique at the proficient rank. A loud metallic clash echoes when the two weapons collide. Thrown backward, the guy panics seeing how cracked the kid's level is. Without holding back, his eyes glow with energy while dominating the battle. Quickly, he breaks the guy's guard and sends the instructor flying. Through a prompt, the system confirms he earned 35 points for winning. Lying on the floor, the defeated dude mutters that this is impossible. He starts questioning if all his hard work was even worth anything. In a fit of rage, the guy tries to throw a punch at our boy. Effortlessly, Soo-hong catches his hand and tells him to knock it off. At that exact moment, the dojo owner shows up in the middle of the mess. The master slaps the instructor right in the face for being a sore loser. Rubbing his burning cheek, the dude looks down, dying of embarrassment. Clearly impressed, the master thinks the kid's talent is just built different. Apologies are handed out by the master for failing to raise his instructor right. Our MC just thinks about how fast that old man flipped his attitude. Later on, walking back home, he feels like today was super productive. Looking at his status, he celebrates the new skills and all those points. Outside the school, he realizes he really needs a high-quality weapon. He decides to go with an alloy spear for his upcoming battles. Grumbling about the price tag, the kid sees his cash barely covers the meds. Down the dark street he walks while brainstorming ways to make more money. Suddenly, a TV screen broadcasts a call to hunt beasts for bounty rewards. Surprised, he wonders if he should actually leave the city to go hunting. Taking the stairs, he reaches his building and heads up to his apartment. Inside the house, his uncle says he needs to work to help his nephew out. Walking into the living room, the MC greets both of them with a smile. He tries to help his aunt, but she insists he goes to get some rest. Worried about his uncle, the kid begs him to stop working so hard. With a thumbs up, the man promises he'll only take on some light, odd jobs. The aunt explains his future will be expensive and they just want to support him. Clutching an envelope, Soo-hong decides he's gonna give them a good life. Determined, he realizes he can't pass up this chance to go hunting. Aware of the risks, he spends his points to boost his chi and blood. A red aura flares up, leaving him one step away from becoming a true martial artist. 2 days later, he celebrates getting his skills all the way to perfection level. Panting heavily, he decides he's finally ready to head out of the city. On Saturday, he arrives at the martial artist base, complaining about the long trip. Strolling around, he's amazed to actually be in such a famous spot. Blown away, he notices there are martial arts masters everywhere he looks. From the flyer, he sees that a rank 1 beast is worth 5,000 coins. He finds it kinda weird having to chop off the monster's ear just to prove it. Over at the counter, he spots a warrior turning in a giant bag full of ears. Some guys show up screaming out of nowhere, telling everyone to clear the way. Acting super cocky, the blonde leader announces that Ye Xiao has arrived. To our boy, this dude looks exactly like the villain from the arena. People gossip that the blonde is only arrogant because his uncle runs the whole base. Ye Xiao notices our boy keeping an eye on him. Giving a little smirk, he stares right at the MC. Unbothered, the kid stares back looking dead serious. On his way out, he realizes humans are far more dangerous than beasts. That security guard asks if the rookie is really heading out alone. Deep down, the guy just assumes he's another clueless beginner. Walking across the grass, he finally leaves the base behind. Before this giant forest, the MC gears up to head inside. Rolling up his sleeves, he vows to come back with some serious cash. 2 hours pass by, and the sound of his footsteps echoes through the woods. Deep inside, he finds it weird not spotting a single monster yet. The only choice left is pushing deeper to track something down. Sprinting between the trees, he stops after sensing some movement. A white wolf with red eyes shows up growling at him. That beast is the moon wolf, exactly like he saw in the books. Opening its massive jaw, the creature lets out a roar while baring its fangs. Instantly, the wolf leaps right at our boy, trying to slice him up. The monster attacks with razor-sharp claws. With quick reflexes, he dodges and immediately preps a counter. Su-hong gathers lightning in his hand, readying a heavy punch. Dropping the thunder fist, he nails the beast with a direct hit. Launched away, the wolf crashes hard against a tree trunk. With the beast defeated, the kid still feels sparks running through his body. All that battle adrenaline gets the MC super hyped. He realizes he can one-shot a rank 1 monster without breaking a sweat. And that's where it gets crazy. A giant black bear pops up right behind him. Without even blinking, the kid bodies the monster with a single strike. Standing over the fallen creature, he sees he's safe for now. He chops off the ear, celebrating the 3,000 coins he just bagged. Then the system prompts that he's ready to level up. A sudden sense of danger puts the kid on high alert. Someone super strong is nearby and he wants to find out who it is. Leaping across the branches, he rushes toward the sounds of combat. From the top of a rock, he watches everything going down. What is that? He wonders while looking at the chaos. An advanced rank 1 jade python is just wiping the floor with some warriors. Hearing desperate screams, he watches the snake attack with zero mercy. In the middle of the brawl, a guy gets thrown against the rocks. Dead set, the MC jumps in to help fight the beast. Mid-air, he notices one of the guys is flying right at him. That snake uses its tail to whip the dude straight into our boy. Knocked far away, Su-hong recovers and praises the monster's speed. Dust and rocks fly everywhere when the beast's tail sweeps the ground. Seeing so much blood spilled, he guessed that things are looking bad. On his knees and coughing, he spots a fallen warrior right next to him. Wiping his face, our boy stands back up going all out. "I'm borrowing this," he says while grabbing the fallen guy's spear. Wielding the weapon, he stares the giant serpent right in the eye. The python lets out a freaky roar, ready to strike. Running in, he knows it'd normally take a whole team to beat this thing. But since his skills are at perfection level, he feels like he stands a chance. Gaining momentum, he gears up for his first real attack. Pure confidence takes over as he faces the danger head-on. Using his speed, the MC closes the gap in the blink of an eye. The furious sea spear strikes wrapped in a watery aura. With a piercing sound, the weapon punches right through its scales. Feeling the pain, the beast roars while he sprints up its back. His hands grip the pole larva even tighter now. Glowing with a powerful aura, he holds his solid stance. Now the game plan is to keep swinging until it tires out. He launches another spear thrust straight into the snake's body. Landing on the monster's head, the strike deals some massive damage. To confuse the beast, he jumps away and spawns some clones. He figures the best move is to slowly wear the monster down. Dodging the tail, the MC already preps his next move. Right then, he punches the ground, unleashing an electric shockwave. Following up the strike, he falls back to keep a safe distance. His strategy is simple: hit, run, and avoid getting caught. Patting heavily, he admits this fighting style is way too exhausting. But the snake is also on its last legs, barely hanging on. Prepping the finishing blow, our boy charges and going all out. Suddenly, he senses someone creeping up from behind. Who is it? He wonders, turning his head in shock. A masked guy leaps at him with a flaming fist. With an energy punch, the dude nails the MC right in the back. Blown away, the strike catches the kid completely off guard. From the ground, he looks back to see who these cowards are. Ye Xiao and his gang show up, and the boy asks who they are. Smirking, the blonde orders the MC to hand over the prey right now. The MC stays on his knees, just staring down this cocky crew. Mocking him, the blonde says he thought the kid would be dead by now. He mentions the guy just got lucky finding an already injured beast. Realizing it's 5 against 1, Su-hong knows he can't mess around. Some brute yells at him to scram and leave the python to them. Head bowed, our boy gets ready to body all of them. Furious, he claims they only landed that hit because it was a sneak attack. In a flash, he hooks the big guy's jaw and shatters his mask. That mountain of muscle is left completely stunned by the sheer force. Giving zero reaction time, the MC knocks the dude out cold with a gut punch. The blonde's gang can't believe their eyes as they watch their buddy hit the floor. Upon recognizing the skill, Yi Xiao figures out the MC is actually Bullhead. "You're the fox?" the kid asks, connecting the dots. Touching his own face, the villain remembers the total humiliation he went through. Now the order is simple: take our boy out for good. Su Hong snatches the spear off the ground in one quick motion. Using the weapon to vault, he leaps off the cliff to make his escape. Inside the thick forest, the goons are terrified of walking into an ambush. One of the guys asks if they should really be scared of a single kid. No one saw that coming. The MC bursts from the shadows, going all out. His eyes catch fire as he locks onto his target, dead serious. Dropping the Thunder Fist, he takes out the goon in a single strike. The guy collapses to the ground without even knowing what happened. Shocked, Yi Xiao wonders how the kid can be so fast. Over on the side, a lackey notices he hit perfection with all 9 echoes. Angrily, the boss tells him to shut up and refuses to believe it. Up on the branch, the MC thinks he'd body all of them if he wasn't so drained. Gripping his spear, he decides to drop them one by one right now. In a surprise attack, he throws the weapon, sending it whistling past the gang. Leaping from the tree, he charges straight at a terrified enemy. That heavy kick lands right on the guy's chest, launching him away. Instantly, the whole crew turns pale with fear seeing their buddy defeated. That dude in the hoodie begs to run away, but the boss isn't having it. Ye Xiao screams he's gonna crush him anyway and tries to push forward. Without hesitation, our boy suddenly spawns right behind the last goon. He knocks the guy out with a clean move, leaving only the blonde standing. Raging, the villain can't fathom how the MC leveled up so much, so fast. As the kid walks towards him, sheer panic completely takes over. Trying to escape, he starts running while screaming out tons of insults. Now blocking the pass, the MC warns him it's time to pay his dues. "Don't think you've won," the blonde yells, firing a blast from his finger. Using the exact same move, our boy deflects the attack with ease. A massive shockwave blasts Yi Xiao way out of the area. Crashing against a tree, the impact is so heavy it actually snaps the trunk. Right after that, he fires 3 more power blasts non-stop. The MC gets impressed, noticing that must be a rank B skill. Threatening the kid's family, the blonde says he'll be back for revenge. Furious over what he just said, our boy absolutely explodes with rage. He dashes forward like lightning, leaving only a trail behind him. Terrified, the coward tries using his uncle's name as a shield, but it fails. Standing right in front of him, the kid glares down with total disgust. With a charged fist, he tells the blonde he was better off staying cocky. The punch connects right to his face, kicking off a brutal combo. Giving zero room to breathe, Su Hong unleashes all his fury onto the villain. And that's where it gets crazy. A final punch sends the blonde straight down the cliff. Panting hard, he stands there watching the enemy vanish into the darkness below. With a dead serious look, he warns that nobody messes with his family. Down below, the blonde crawls around completely broken, unable to grasp that power. Hallucinating, he spots the giant serpent and wonders who the real monster is. That ice-cold glare the MC gave him before the end just won't leave his head. Suddenly, the snake's tail slams the ground, destroying everything around it. The beast's roar makes it clear it fully recovered while he was fighting. Those goons wake up complaining about how terrifying our boy is. From the dirt, one of the guys notices something super dangerous coming their way. Our boy returns, telling them to get out of the way before the worst happens. Right then, the serpent pops up behind them, ready to deliver the final strike. One of them turns into a snack for the beast, granting 30 system points. Taking a hit, another lackey generates even more points for the kid. Since the beast is charging forward, he gears up to make a tactical retreat. Checking his balance, he realizes he finally has enough points to level up. Now the game plan is to find a safe hideout for the upgrade. Spotting a nearby cave, he decides that's the absolute perfect spot. As he rushes inside, he feels the serpent's breath right on his heels. The snake slams its head against the entrance, but the gap is way too small for it. Safely hidden inside, the kid kicks off the process while the beast roars. Enraged, the monster tries to jam its head through the crack any way it can. Checking the panel, he looks at his 500 points and starts the evolution. With a tap on the upgrade button, he commands the system to speed things up. His energy starts boiling like he's got literal lava flowing through his veins. Finally, his energy meter hits the 100-point milestone. From the outside, the serpent senses something incredibly powerful being born in there. The system announces he just became a true martial artist, and he celebrates. Clenching his fist tight, he gets ready to finish the job. The monster actually backs off, but the kid warns it's his turn now. Charging in with a flaming fist, he throws himself right at the beast. Caught off guard, the snake tries to use its tail, but it's way too late. A brutal punch unleashes a pillar of light that pierces right through the beast's body. Bleeding heavily, the serpent realizes that was the final strike. Su Hong uses the diamond fist to wrap this fight up for good. Leaping right onto the monster's head, he delivers the finishing blow. That heavy punch crushes whatever was left of the creature's defenses. Even the MC feels the weight of the impact, yet he doesn't stalk the assault. Gathering all his power, he prepares to put the beast down entirely. With ridiculous strength, he forces the snake's head right into the dirt. A flash of light instantly blows straight through the monster's skull. Just to be sure, he follows up with a thunder fist combo. Relentlessly, multiple punches explode against the serpent's head. Its skull gets completely crushed, and the beast finally collapses. The dust settles, revealing the end of that epic showdown. Celebrating his win, the kid receives another 92 points. Despite wanting the bounty, he realizes snakes don't actually have ears. Clueless on what to do, he figures it's best to head back to base. On his way back, he stumbles across the blonde's body just lying there. "You're lucky you didn't become monster food," he tells the knocked out dude. Curiously, he starts looting the villain for that secret technique. No one saw that coming. He actually finds the manual for the broken illusion finger. Once night falls, he lights a campfire to rest up in the clearing. Inside a nearby cave, he kicks off another hardcore training session. Feeling relaxed, he decides to use the system to learn the new move. In his mindscape, he stares down his copy and asks for a fight. Instantly, the clone strikes him, passing down all the skill's knowledge. Thanks to the system, he masters this new power in record time. A spark of light proves he already started picking up the move. Feeling the weight of a rank B technique, he decides to test it on a real beast. 3 days pass by and a giant bear shows up looking for trouble. Flawlessly, our boy uses the illusion finger and pierces straight through its chest. With the skill maxed out, he decides it's finally time to head back. Back at the base, he walks straight up to the exchange counter. A group celebrates making 230,000 coins from their hunt. Everyone is blown away by the massive profit those guys pulled off. Our MC bags 406,000 coins just for all those ears. Worried about the stairs, he feels like he overdid it and should have been more low-key. Right then, an explosion out of nowhere shakes the base's main building. The warriors freak out, thinking it's impossible for someone to attack a place like this. Yi Chi, the base boss, shows up with a fiery look of rage. He instantly orders them to lock everything down and not let anyone leave. One of his men walks up trying to figure out what happened. Filled with hate, the leader reveals that his nephew and his gang are dead. Nobody can believe 5 martial artists got wiped out all at once. In the background, people are actually celebrating since that blonde was a massive thief. Get this, the secret technique is gone and the boss is gonna search everyone. Our boy figures the snake will take the blame and he'll be safe. Keeping it low-key, he watches every move the boss and the guards make. But soon he notices the leader staring right at him, making the vibes super heavy. Pushing through the crowd, the villain's uncle walks straight toward him. Right then, the man says he must be pretty good to bag 400,000. The lady doubts it, saying our MC looks like a rank 1 at best and wonders how he killed so many beasts. So the man figures he must have stolen young Master Yi's stuff and orders an immediate search. Instantly, 2 goons with flaming fists step up, warning our boy not to resist so things don't get ugly. In the blink of an eye, our MC moves first. He already has his spear at one of the guy's necks, who gets shocked and mentions he didn't even see him draw the weapon. Then, our boy introduces himself as a student from Star City High School No. 1, asking if they really have the guts to search him. The group leader thinks about how that school's principal is famous for being overprotective, but still feels our MC is highly sus. He also figures that if the kid really is a prodigy who hunted all that, it's not worth picking a fight and offending him. The man steps up and explains his nephew got attacked and the family's secret technique was stolen, so he needs to find the culprit and asks for cooperation. But our MC just replies he hopes they aren't accusing the wrong guy. To smooth things over, the dead guy's uncle offers 10,000 as compensation for the search. Except our boy counters with 30,000, figuring that since Ye Feng was killed by a python, they can't blame him if they don't find the technique on him. The man takes the deal without second thoughts. While getting searched, our MC asks them to look carefully since he doesn't want any false accusations thrown his way. One of the goons says he didn't find anything, so the boss orders them to hand over the 30 grand and let the kid go. Relieved, our MC thinks it was a great idea to ditch everything, otherwise he'd be in serious trouble right now. While the boss yells to keep searching everyone, our boy dips out planning to take a shower, register at the Martial Arts Association, and grab a guidance technique ASAP, right after he pops up in a hotel room inside the martial artist's underground base. Surprised, he sees he has 534 martial points, realizing he was so focused on training and hunting that he never even got the chance to spend them. Then, his status screen shows his name, Su Hong, with 103 vitality, 23 spirit, mortal frame at 6%, and 534 martial points. A prompt pops up explaining that an early stage rank 1 martial artist has 100 vitality, while the mid stage needs 200. He does the math and sees that dumping all his points into vitality would give him a 53.4 boost, leaving him just 40 points shy of the mid stage. Thinking about how he hasn't upgraded spirit or mortal frame yet, he gets curious about the effects and decides to test them out since he has points to spare. He starts upgrading his spirit, but mentions he doesn't feel any real difference from the boost. Then, he dumps points into mortal frame and notices the strength spike is super obvious, so he decides to add even more. With that, his new status screen shows 123 vitality, 26.5 spirit, and mortal frame at 36.1%, draining his martial points to 0. The status screen confirms his new stats, now with every single point spent. Out of nowhere, our MC feels this endless power surging inside him as his body gets way more muscular and wrapped in a red aura, but the effect quickly starts fading and his body gradually returns to normal. Relieved, he thinks it's a good thing he changed back, cause he'd have no clue how to explain getting stuck in that beefed up form. An hour later, the scene shifts to the Star City Martial Arts Association. Our boy is already at the counter telling the receptionist he's here for the martial artist evaluation, and she says a staff member will take him shortly. While walking, the worker mentions he's pretty young and explains that to pass as a rank 1, he needs 100 vitality and over 1,000 combat power. In the background, two guys are watching, and one wonders why the kid is alone without a master, while the other guesses he's just there to test his skills because of his age. Our MC just locks in, ignoring the chatter around him. Soon, an announcement echoes, failing some guy named Pangea for only having 992 combat power, and the dude groans about being so close. Next up, a guy named Li Ming passes the vitality test with 105, and the evaluator announces the combat power test is next. So, Li Ming steps up to the testing machine, ready to strike. He unleashes a heavy punch straight into the gear. The result pops up on the screen, hitting 1,763 combat power, securing his pass. The crowd is blown away, saying that power is almost at the mid-stage level, and recognizing him as the genius Li Ming from the Furious Thunder Dojo, who used the Thunder Fist technique. Seeing a man scolding a kid nearby, our MC thinks he assumed Jiang Ming's disciple was Li Yan, and wonders just how many students that guy actually has. Li Ming turns to our MC and tells him it's his turn. Looking down on him, he thinks he's only here at this age because he's a genius, and doubts our boy could ever compare, even being the same age. No one saw that coming. Li Ming's jaw drops, wondering if the vitality tester broke, and how our boy's score could be so high. The evaluator announces Su Hong, vitality 123, passed, and Li Ming screams that it's impossible. The genius tries to chill out, thinking high vitality means nothing, and combat power is what actually matters. The evaluator kicks off the combat power test as the crowd watches our boy step up to the machine. Our MC figures his strength spiked a ton and 40% power should be enough, but reconsiders so he doesn't risk failing. Just to be safe, he decides to go with 50% of his strength. With a single punch, he sends the testing machine flying. The gear launches across the room, smashing through walls. It ends up crashing hard on the complete opposite side of the hall. In the crowd, Li Ming is stunned by the punch's power, while the other guy realizes our boy didn't even use any martial arts. The number on the busted tester reads 3004, leaving a man speechless as he notes that's way above the standard for a high-stage rank 1 martial artist. That disciple who was getting scolded points at our boy, telling his teacher the kid is an absolute monster. Recognizing our MC, the master simply says that explains everything. Meanwhile, in an office, a blonde woman is sitting at her desk. The association president, Wu Linxian, complains that the neighboring city produced another genius while hers got nothing, stressing that if new talent doesn't show up soon, she's gonna lose her job. Suddenly, a guy bursts into the room screaming that a monster showed up at the evaluation, making her drop her phone from the jump scare. The guy reports that an early-stage rank 1 fighter sent the tester flying with just physical strength, hitting 3,000 combat power, leaving the president completely shook. Down in the association's main hall, things are back to normal. A man walks up to Su Hong, saying he'll take him to the second floor to register his martial artist ID and grab his allowance. Suddenly, a female voice cuts him off, saying she'll handle the kid personally, and the worker starts stuttering her title. The staff member is shocked to see the president herself. The lady, Wu Linxian, introduces herself as the president of the Star City Association branch and asks our MC to follow her. He nods, thinking about how she's the famous rank 5 martial artist, and notices she isn't exactly what he pictured. They head up to her office, which is super spacious and luxurious. Wu confirms he's a student at high school number 1 and complains that the principal, Li Xingshan, was crying earlier about only producing 2 average martial artists this year, only for her to find out he was hiding such a massive genius. Our boy asks why he was brought up here, since he just wanted to register and grab his stuff. She calms him down, saying her staff already took care of everything. Then the president announces she'll personally teach him the guidance technique and asks what he knows about it. He replies that, according to the books, heaven and earth's spiritual energy is divided by attributes, and guidance techniques are methods to absorb that energy and get stronger, with each attribute needing a specific technique. The blonde agrees, but explains the techniques are more than just cultivation methods, using her heavenly flame technique as an example of absorbing mostly fire attribute energy. This buffs her body and also infuses her attacks with the deadly power of the fire element. She demonstrates by spawning a flame in her hand, explaining that projecting the elemental attack outward can boost its range, but for a rookie martial artist, just covering their fist in the element is already huge. Our MC is surprised, realizing these techniques can be used for attacking, which the books never actually taught. The president then lists the 7 spiritual energy attributes: metal, wood, water, fire, earth, thunder, and wind, explaining that in terms of attack power, thunder is first, metal is second, and fire is third. She pulls out a crystal ball, explaining that the technique he can practice depends on his compatibility, so it's not just about picking whatever he wants. Showing off the ball, she says it's a crystal to test that compatibility, and the bigger the glowing area, the higher the affinity, revealing hers is 50%, which is actually really high. She hands the crystal over to our boy, saying she feels like a prodigy like him will definitely pass 90%, but the flame inside the ball fades out. Holding the crystal, our MC thinks that President Wu, a top-tier genius, has 80%, so hitting 90 would be overkill. But the second he touches the crystal, an intense light explodes, catching them both off guard. The president screams that the crystal is full, and just like that, everything changed. With a blinding glow, she declares his fire attribute compatibility is at 100%. She shakes him, asking if he even knows what that means, and explains he can absorb 100% of the fire spiritual energy without losing a drop. She says that with her 80% compatibility, she loses 2/10 of the energy, and that's exactly how she became a rank 5 martial artist and president. She then says his future achievements will eclipse hers, never imagining a small place like Star City could produce such a monster. Thinking fire isn't bad, our boy still prefers the thunder attribute and really wishes he had that affinity. And almost like his wish was a command, the red crystal suddenly turns gold and starts crackling with lightning. Instantly, the president looks back, mind blown by the sudden shift in the crystal's color and energy. Our MC points out his compatibility with the thunder attribute also seems to be 100%. And that's where it gets crazy. Wu wonders what kind of freak he is to actually have a dual 100% compatibility. To their surprise, our boy announces the wind attribute is also at 100% while the crystal turns green, making the president question reality. A few minutes later, the entire room goes dead silent. Wu slumps on the couch, wondering how all attributes hit 100%, convinced she must be dreaming. In her mind, she reflects on always considering herself a top-tier genius, being a rare rank 5 martial artist at 30, but facing someone who flat-out defies common sense, she realizes she's just an ordinary person. She understands that defeating an existence that defies all logic requires someone who's also way beyond common sense, beings that ordinary people can't even wrap their heads around. Having 7 attributes at 100% makes our boy think focusing on just one is a huge waste, turning this into a real dilemma. Then, he turns to the president asking for copies of the guidance techniques for all 7 attributes, leaving her speechless. Wu warns him human energy is limited, so despite his cracked talent, focusing on 1 or 2 is best, reminding him past geniuses who tried all 7 stayed stuck at rank 1 for decades. Refusing to back down, the MC insists on testing everything first, so the president agrees while warning him not to waste his built-different potential. Out of nowhere, the blonde asks if his school's monthly exam is coming up, making our boy confirm it while feeling curious about her sudden interest. She explains the tension at the heavens battlefield is rising and a war could drop any time, so nations are opening genius training camps where she plans to recommend him. The catch is, he needs to grab first place in that monthly exam, leaving him deep in thought about this war and the genius camp. Flashing back to the war a decade ago, he remembers losing everyone except his aunt and uncle, promising the president he'll go all out. Memories of that tragedy remind him of his family being in danger, making him swear he'll never let history repeat itself. With a dead serious look, our boy decides leveling up is the only way to protect everyone around him. Later that night, the MC finally makes it back home. He flashes his new ID, announcing to his aunt and uncle he just became an official martial artist. Both relatives get super emotional, the aunt calling it wonderful, while the uncle hypes up his bright future and cracked skills, pointing out that rank 1 martial artists make 10 grand a month. The uncle says he doesn't have to work himself to the bone anymore, and the aunt agrees the kid is their new pillar. Our boy just smiles, knowing that from now on, he's the one providing for the family. Deep into the night, he kicks off his meditation, while energy flames burst all around him. His eyes glow with pure fire energy as he heavily locks in. Right after, he throws a punch and a legit fireball forms around his fist. Smoke and flames wrap tightly around his hand, proving how intense that heat really is. But he stares at his hand confused, wondering why this guidance technique mastery feels like it deals 0 damage. Opening his status panel, he spots the new guidance technique section, confirming he actually learned the skill. He notices the technique sits at level 1 and wonders if it can level up, finding it super weird that President Wu never mentioned this. Suddenly, it clicks in his head that maybe he's the only one who can actually level up these techniques. Our boy wonders if upgrading it requires martial points too, so he taps the plus icon just to check. Except the system drops a warning about insufficient points, pushing him to cultivate the other techniques first and stress over points later. Sitting back down, he dives deep into the books, unleashing a heavy energy aura while practicing. Hours later, he feels the spiritual energy from all 7 attributes violently clashing inside his body. He breaks into a cold sweat, fully grasping why President Wu said that past genius stayed stuck at rank 1 for decades. Our kid realizes that despite holding all 7 spiritual energies, he can only channel 1 attribute at a time, and if he tries to force a second attribute out at the exact same time, the two violently clash and instantly fade away into thin air. Wondering about their similar vibes, he questions if thunder and fire could somehow be fused together. But the attempt massively flops again, leaving the combined energy to just fizzle out in his hand. Frustrated, he spends the whole night on the roof screaming and spamming the fusion process with 0 luck. Nighttime rolls by and the sun finally starts coming up. Exhausted and panting heavily, he knows he's just inches away from making it happen. In one final push, he screams out loud, forcing the energies to fuse once and for all. And finally, the fusion clicks, spawning a crackling, flaming ball of energy right in his hands. He stares at the energy blast, beyond relieved to finally nail it after an all-nighter. Feeling determined, he clenches his fist and heads out to test this brand new skill. Our boy takes a trip straight to the Star City Martial Arts Square. Over there, he steps up to a rank 3 tester, hoping this gear won't shatter like the last one. Remembering his 50% strike hit 3 grand, he dials it down to 30 and throws a massive punch. The screen flashes 2030-43, leaving him shook since 30% should have only been 1800. He figures the raw thunder power alone is already packing that much heat. And then he wonders about the fire and thunder combo, gathering energy to punch the machine again. That hit is so heavy it launches a massive energy shockwave in every direction. To his total surprise, the meter breaks 3 grand, clocking in at 3041. Staring at the smoking hole in the machine, he's blown away that just 30% power plus the fusion beat an advanced rank 1 martial artist. He stands there amazed, daydreaming about the cracked power he'd have by fusing all 7 elements. With that fiery thunder in hand, he heads back to try fusing 3 attributes at once. But that mission turns out impossible, leaving him wiped out on the roof. Figuring out that 3 elements is way too hard, he realizes multiple combo attempts gave him 0 progress. Suddenly, he wonders if leveling up the techniques would make fusion easier, deciding to farm maximum martial points in tomorrow's exam. The very next day, a massive crowd of students gathers at high school number 1 for the monthly exam. The principal announces that rising frontline tension means an annual training camp will now forge new geniuses. He hypes up the camp's massive resources, pills, and grandmaster instructors, revealing the top 3 students get a ticket in. Students go wild, buzzing over a rank 7 instructor since their principal is only rank 3, with everyone screaming for victory. Feeling confused, our kid remembers the president demanding first place, even though the top 3 get in anyway. A nearby classmate explains that Chen Shan and Li Tu hit rank 1 while others mastered the Thunder Fist basics, leaving our boys shocked they leveled up so fast in 10 days. That same dude drops the intel that the principal hooked the top talents up with private Thunder Fist lessons from senior Chen Tian, And wrapping up, the guy mentions those two passed 100 vitality days ago and dropped 3 echoes with their thunder fist. Shen, Shan, and Li too step up, one bragging about being the true top genius, while the other bets he'll lose that cocky vibe after getting clowned. The screen flashes 2,343, leaving him shook since 30% should have only been 1,800. He figures the raw thunder power alone is already packing that much heat. And then he wonders about the fire and thunder combo, gathering energy to punch the machine again. That hit is so heavy it launches a massive energy shockwave in every direction. To his total surprise, the meter breaks 3 grand, clocking in at 3,041. Staring at the smoking hole in the machine, he's blown away that just 30% power, plus the fusion beat and advanced rank 1 martial artist. He stands there amazed, daydreaming about the cracked power he'd have by fusing all 7 elements. With that fiery thunder in hand, he heads back to try fusing 3 attributes at once. But that mission turns out impossible, leaving him wiped out on the roof. Figuring out that 3 elements is way too hard, he realizes multiple combo attempts gave him 0 progress. Suddenly, he wonders if leveling up the techniques would make fusion easier, deciding to farm maximum martial points in tomorrow's exam. The very next day, a massive crowd of students gathers at high school number 1 for the monthly exam. The principal announces that rising frontline tension means an annual training camp will now forge new geniuses. He hypes up the camp's massive resources, pills, and grandmaster instructors, revealing the top 3 students get a ticket in. Students go wild, buzzing over a rank 7 instructor since their principal is only rank 3, with everyone screaming for victory. Feeling confused, our kid remembers the president demanding first place, even though the top 3 get in anyway. A nearby classmate explains that Chen Shan and Li Tu hit rank 1 while others mastered the Thunder Fist basics, leaving our boys shocked they leveled up so fast in 10 days. That same dude drops the intel that the principal hooked the top talents up with private Thunder Fist lessons from senior Chen Tian. And wrapping up, the guy mentions those 2 passed 100 vitality days ago and dropped 3 echoes with their Thunder Fist. Chen Shan and Li Tu step up, one bragging about being the true top genius, while the other bets he'll lose that cocky vibe after getting clowned. Shocked, the crowd wonders if he really just one-shot a near martial artist like it was nothing. Back in the ring, Su Hong catches another dub, making people wonder if he's secretly a rank 1 fighter as the announcer calls the final match. Watching from the sidelines, senior Chen Tian questions why Su Hong wasn't in the private classes, forcing the principal to admit he hard fumbled that call. The principal regrets missing such a promising talent earlier, feeling like he buried the kid's potential, while Chen Tian thinks he's seen the guy before but can't remember where. Both of them then point out that the semifinal between Chen Shan and Li Han should be wrapping up soon. Spotting how evenly matched the 2 fighters are, they find it hard to call a winner as the guys trade a flurry of punches. Suddenly, Li Tu yells at Chen Shan that they're using the same technique and he won't win without his ultimate move, charging energy into his fist. Going all out, Li Tu charges forward and throws a heavy punch straight at Chen Shan. Defending the strike, Chen Shan shouts that Jin Yan's moves are good, but he's the school's number 1 as his fist glows with golden energy. Students in the crowd are stunned, recognizing Chen Shan is using attribute projection, specifically fire, which is crazy strong and only second to lightning. Mocking him from across the ring, Li Tu claims attribute projection is easy and anyone can do it, manifesting energy in his own hand right after, leaving the crowd speechless again. Everyone realizes Li Tu can also use the technique, rocking the metal attribute which hits even harder than fire in combat. Smiling, Li Tu warns he can do way more than that, unleashing a combo of punches with his metal power. And that's where it gets crazy. He reveals his trump card, the 5 Echo Thunder Fist. With the technique fully activated, he drops an absolute rain of blows right onto Chen Shan. Watching in awe, the principal admits Li Tu was hiding his true strength, while Chen Tian praises how cracked it is to master both skills in just 10 days. The principal claims there's no need to even watch the final since Su Hong stands 0 chance against the Thunder Fist and Metal attribute, with Chen Tian agreeing it'd be different if our boy knew a guidance technique. Right then, another guy walks up and bets 50,000 that Su Hong will win the whole thing, making the principal call him crazy but accept the deal since it's easy money. Hyping up the crowd, the final match is announced, putting the number 1 Li Tu against our boy number 666 as everyone cheers for both fighters. Staring our kid down, Li Tu claims he just got lucky not running into him or Chen Shan earlier, reaching the finals purely by chance. Our boy, on the other hand, thinks about how hunting beasts made the students here look super weak, but he finally found someone worth sparring with. Bragging out loud, Li Tu says reaching the finals makes our MC the school's number 2, prompting the kid to ask who the number 1 is. Getting ready to speak, Li Tu takes a firm step forward. Sprinting right at our boy, he screams that the top spot definitely belongs to him. Already sparking his metal attribute, he warns he only needs one strike to show the massive gap between them. Down in the stands, people freak out seeing Lee 2 drop the 5 Echo Thunder Fist right from the jump, fully believing our MC is about to get bodied. Meanwhile, our boy focuses heavily and his eyes flash with a golden light. Wanting to test the absolute limits of his physical body, he gathers fire energy in his fist, gearing up to counter. Panicking, the crowd wonders if our kid lost his mind for not dodging and charging straight into the attack, with someone even yelling for help to save him. Their fists clash, setting off a massive energy explosion that echoes through the entire arena. Keeping up the frantic exchange, both of them move so fast they just turn into blazing blurs, clashing non-stop. Shocked, Lee 2 can't believe our boy managed to completely neutralize his Thunderfist with just 5 instant punches. Refusing to stop the assault, the MC keeps throwing a heavy flurry of blows right at his rival. Getting pushed back, Lee 2 wonders if this guy is a legit monster since every single punch carries insane weight. Up in the bleachers, everyone's jaws drop as they realize our kid matched the Thunder Fist without using a single martial skill, proving his raw strength is just terrifying. Theorizing he must have some special physique to be this OP, Chen Tian watches the principal laugh. Beyond height, his school produced such a prodigy. But Chen Tian points out that despite the MC's crazy strength, Lee 2 already condensed an attribute, meaning the kid still doesn't have the upper hand. Back in the fight, a heavy strike finally breaks the stalemate and shoves Lee 2 backward, making him slide across the ring. Furious, Lee 2 unleashes all his energy and yells at our boy to stop acting arrogant, claiming he'll be the only winner here. He then charges in going all out, daring the MC to defeat him if he's actually got what it takes. Calmly watching him, our boy thinks he only wanted to test his physical strength, but the rival couldn't hold back and exploded with full power right away. Deciding it's time to put in some actual effort since Lee 2 went all out, our MC flares up a powerful fire and thunder aura. With a flaming fist, he dashes forward, casually warning he'll have to try just a little bit harder now. No one saw that coming. Lee 2 is absolutely stunned by the thunder, screaming and wondering how our kid can also use attribute projection. Up in the stands, the principal and Chen Tian are left completely speechless, deeply shocked and unable to believe their own eyes. Yelling that it's the lightning attribute, the principal realizes our boy mastered the thunder guidance technique, while Chen Tian adds that a special physique paired with the strongest element is just terrifying. Both of them clash in a massive strike, slamming our boy's thunder and fire energy right into the opponent's metal power. Shoved backward, Lee 2 quickly realizes our kid's lightning attribute easily outclasses his own metal element. Flashing a slight smirk, our boy points out that since the rival already showed his ultimate move, now it's his turn to flex, prepping his Thunder Fist with glowing eyes. Throwing a lightning-fast combo, he completely swallows Lee 2 inside a barrage of relentless strikes. Beaten down and fully bruised, Lee 2 lies there in disbelief thinking about the 9 echoes he'd just heard, wondering how that's even possible. The match officially ends with our boy standing tall right over Lee 2's defeated body, leaving the entire crowd in absolute silence. Nobody even knows how to react. Moments later, the audience erupts in cheers, someone totally shocked by the MC's win, while another recognizes the perfection tier 9 Echo Thunder Fist, calling it stronger than the teachers, asking if he's the missing 9 Echo genius from Liu Tian's school. The principal gets corrected by Chen Tian, who claims he isn't just any genius, but the true dragon of their academy. Smiling wide, Chen Tian imagines the absolute chaos this prodigy will cause at the training camp against all those rich family kids. He compares our boy to a golden scale turning into a dragon when it meets a cloud, claiming Star City is way too small of a pond for him. Agreeing completely, the principal says our MC will rise like a dragon from the abyss at the camp, proving places like the Magic Capital and Heaven's Battlefield are where true prodigies shine. Once night falls, our boy makes it back home and announces to his aunt and uncle that he's back. Greeting him, his uncle asks how the exam went, and our kid happily replies he snatched first place. Shook by the news, the uncle asks if this means he can attend that training camp he talked about, which the MC confirms with a nod. Right as that moment, someone suddenly knocks on their front door. Stepping into the hallway, a woman asks if this is where Su-Han lives. Opening the door, our boy doesn't recognize her at all and asks who she is. Introducing herself as Lin Nyan's mom from the same school, she explains she's here to ask him to drop out of the camp so her son, who ranked 4th, can take the spot. She then straight up offers 30 grand for him to give up the ticket, letting her kid go instead. Giving her a deeply unfriendly look, our MC and his relatives just stare her down. Annoyed by their reaction, the lady yells that the camp trains geniuses for the battlefield, and the competition is absolutely brutal, warning that people actually die there. Pushing further, she claims everyone there uses top-tier elixirs, suggesting his poor family background means backing out is for his own good. Feeling worried, the aunt asks our boy if what she said is true and if the place is really that dangerous. Trying to soothe his wife, the uncle steps in and tells her to stay calm. Right after, he looks dead serious at our MC, asking if he can truly guarantee his own safety. Meeting his gaze with pure determination, our kid confirms he absolutely can. Scoffing at a kid's promise, the woman gets cut off by the uncle, who says he trusts the boy to make his own choices, adding he'd rather trust his family than a stranger. Telling her to get lost, he slams the door right in her face. Walking away, the lady screams they'll regret this, and our boy is gonna get kicked out of the camp anyway. Turning to his uncle, our kid admits he didn't want to hide the danger from them, but the man says it's perfectly fine. Calling himself a simple guy, the uncle says the boy is way smarter, so if he has the guts to face the struggle, they'll fully back him up. Jumping into the conversation, his aunt adds they don't care about rankings and just want him to stay safe. Smiling warmly, our boy nods in agreement. Later that exact same night, he climbs up to the building's roof. Sitting there, he knows his relatives are probably still worried despite their support, realizing he can't let them down and must level up to protect this life he built. Opening the system, he sees he fought over 12 matches and scored 285 points, but figures that's still not enough. Clueless about the hidden trump cards those camp geniuses might have, he decides to prioritize physical combat power, dumping points to upgrade his mortal frame. Watching the percentage tick up point by point, he funnels all his energy into boosting his physical strength. Wrapping it up, his mortal frame hits 64.6%, making him wonder what kind of special physique unlocks at 100%. And just like that, everything changed. He suddenly realizes something, wondering when exactly his Thunder and Heavenly Flame guidance techniques hit level 2. Checking the system panel, it clearly confirms both guidance techniques are sitting at level 2. Thinking about how he only practiced them for a few days, he questions if they lack extra requirements and just level up through normal cultivation. Testing that theory out, he decides to push for another level up, unleashing fire and thunder energies right into his hands. Bright and early the next morning, the city slowly starts waking up, and our MC opens his eyes, wrapping up his nighttime cultivation. He then sits down to meditate, and as dawn breaks, he opens his eyes while his Thunder and Heavenly Flame guidance techniques hit level 3. Surprised by the progress, he notices his vitality also spiked by 3 points alongside the skills, calling it a totally unexpected win. Now his status screen displays 126 vitality, mortal frame at 64.6%, and his martial points fully drained to 0. On the day of departure, his aunt begs him to stay safe and just come back home if he can't handle it. But the uncle hypes him up to ignore the negative thoughts and secure another first place, as our MC says his goodbyes and heads out. Watching him walk away, his aunt and uncle look on with massive pride. Calling her husband out, the aunt points out he's worried too, but the uncle admits he just didn't want to stress our boy out. Carrying his spear on his back, our kid casually strolls down the street. Moving forward, he keeps that dead serious look on his face. Out of nowhere, a red sports car slams the brakes right in front of him. The driver, who turns out to be President Wu, tells him to hop in. Soon enough, they're already speeding down the highway. Cutting through the wind, the car rushes down the road at crazy speeds. Our MC then asks what the president needs from him. She explains she needs to give him a heads up about the camp, since being the association president means she knows the profiles of some participants. Giving a warning, she says there are some monsters among the martial artists who are already advanced stage rank 1 and inches away from rank 2. Making things worse, she mentions the skills these freaks mastered are at least class B. Surprised, our boy thinks heading rank 2 takes 200 vitality, but class B skills don't scare him since the system's space lets him learn anything fast. The president admits his talent is the craziest she's ever seen, but he lacks the resources others have, so he shouldn't get down over setbacks since overcoming them is a given. Getting the message, he thanks her and calls her Sister Wu. Watching how chill he is despite knowing his vitality and skills fall short, the president figures she doesn't need to stress over his mindset. Up a winding road, the car climbs into the Tianlin mountain range. Inside the vehicle, a guy panics realizing the camp is in the beast-filled Tianlin mountain range, but an older dude calms him down saying Grandmasters supervise the place so it's safe. RMC reflects on how massive the Tianlin mountain range is, crossing several cities, packed with spiritual energy and beasts, including beast kings that rival rank 7 Grandmasters. He thinks about how brutal the animal competition is out there, making the rank 1 beasts on the mountain's edge way more savage. Because of that, not even a normal rank 2 martial artist would dare walk in there carelessly. While the car pushes through the forest, the sound of crushing leaves echoes around. Hiding in the dark trees, 2 bears with glowing eyes watch them drive by. One of our boys' classmates mentions feeling like they're being watched, terrified a beast might jump them out of nowhere. But our kid figures the camp's competition will be just as brutal as beasts hunting each other, admitting to himself he's actually enjoying the vibe. Before long, they reach a fenced-in camp where a massive crowd is already gathering. Wondering out loud, a classmate questions just how cracked the people here must be. Walking closer, they spot tons of competitors showing off intimidating looks and powerful auras. Our boy's two friends are left completely speechless, obviously spooked by everyone else's presence. Our MC just flashes a confident smile, beyond hyped for the challenge ahead. Turning to his buddies, he tells them to get moving, and they agree while still hesitating a bit. A guy walks up and throws his hand out to stop them in their tracks. Explaining the rules, the man says they gotta wait for everyone before starting the admission exam, leaving our MC surprised there's even an entrance test. Right then, a huge commotion breaks out with everyone staring at the gate, as one dude complains they must be from some big family to make everyone wait. No one saw that coming. A fleet of luxury cars pulls up out of nowhere, kicking a ton of dust into the air. The doors swing open and two competitors step out with their crew, one rocking a white suit and the other in a more casual fit. Gossiping away, the crowd points out the girl as Goddess Xia Yin, the guy in white is the near rank 2 Lin Xing'e, and the strongest as City Lord Sun Wang Tiantuo, packing his special physique and 95% fire compatibility. Strutting forward with their escorts, the trio watches the crowd part ways for them, showing a mix of respect and pure fear. Joining the rest of the competitors, these newcomers form an elite squad that grabs everyone's attention. Wondering if these are the top 3 geniuses President Wu mentioned, our boy smiles, ready to see just how cracked they actually are. Taking the lead, the instructor announces everyone is here and starts explaining the admission exam rules. Dropping the details, he reveals the training camp is 30 kilometers away, deep inside the Tianlin mountain range. He explains they hid tokens inside certain beasts, and only those holding a token can actually enter the camp. Sweating the details, one of the kid's buddies worries 30 kilometers in 8 hours sounds easy, but in the Tianlin mountains, they could run into high-level beasts and straight up lose their lives. Our MC, on the flip side, thinks the mission is a breeze, figuring he'll have plenty of time to farm beasts for marshal points. A competitor asks what happens if they run into a beast way above their pay grade, and the instructor says they'll just be unlucky and get eliminated, though someone will step in to save them. Protesting out loud, the crowd calls it totally unfair that strong fighters might get kicked out by bad luck while weaklings slide by on pure chance. Yelling back, the instructor says the world isn't fair, asking if they'll also complain on the battlefield where years of cultivation can vanish in a split second. Advising them to move carefully if they want to avoid OP beasts, he claims managing risks, hunting the weak, and ganging up are the actual rules of war. Backing the instructor, a dude in a suit tells anyone scared of danger to just quit now, calling them a bunch of trash. Getting mad, one of the competitors challenges him, but the suit guy just calls him a coward and dares him to attack and see what happens. The instructor cuts in, warning fighting is banned right here, but once inside the mountain, staff won't interfere, so they can steal tokens or brawl all they want. Glaring at each other with pure hostility, a heavy spark of tension builds up between the two competitors. Our kid concludes the camp is completely ruthless for hyping up player versus player fights, guessing half the crowd is about to get eliminated. Then it clicks for him. If he ends up throwing hands with these guys, he can farm a massive amount of marshal points. Wrapping up the speech, the instructor hits a button, announces the exam is officially on, and tells everyone to move out. The second the test starts, the mob dashes straight into the forest, screaming they're gonna pass and telling others to get out of the way. Spreading out quickly, the competitors sprint through the trees of the massive forest. Those two guys who argued earlier cross paths again, the suited dude yelling he'll take him out right here, while his rival says he's more than ready for a fight. Screaming the guy is finished, the backpack kid charges in with a flaming fist as the suited dude preps a blue energy blast. He attacks using an energy spear, but the guy in the suit blocks it effortlessly, shattering into multiple light beams. The spear ricochets through the woods, blasting the trees nearby. The assault keeps going, sending energy blasts cutting through the air and blowing up spots all over the forest. Watching from a branch above, our MC feels let down, thinking he wanted to see these supposed geniuses go all out, but they look pretty mid and aren't worth his time. He decides his best move is to go hunt some high-level beasts instead. But while walking away, he catches them arguing again, the suit guy yelling that broke means broke and hard work is useless against generational wealth, while the other dude tells him to shut up. Taunting non-stop, the suited guy keeps screaming that training is a waste of time, spamming the word broke. Stopping in his tracks, he changes his mind with a wicked grin, realizing he shouldn't let free martial points go to waste. Dropping in right in front of them, he tells both of them to knock it off. Gripping a random wooden stick, he offers to step up and fight them himself. Pissed at the interruption, the suit guy calls our MC a broke loser and threatens to body him too, while the backpack kid demands to know his level to be acting this cocky. Our kid points out they completely misunderstood the deal, suggesting they team up to fight him instead of hitting each other, taking that as a massive insult. The backpack dude loses it and charges in, screaming our boy is just begging for a beatdown. He throws a super heavy punch, but our kid simply sidesteps, landing a clean chop right to the guy's neck, hitting the dirt out cold. The competitor goes down while the system chimes in to award our MC 10 martial points. Mid-chaos, our boy jumps and chucks the wooden stick straight at the suit guy, who barely dodges it at the last second. The guy stares at his knocked-out rival in pure shock, unable to believe someone with matching power just got one shot. Suddenly, our kid spawns right in front of his face and says he's up next, totally spooking the dude with his crack speed. Frozen in fear, the competitor just stares at our MC while breaking into a cold sweat. And then, giving zero time to react, our kid shatters the wooden stick right across his face. Launched backward by the impact, the suited guy gets absolutely knocked out, standing over both of them. Our kid says that's what they get for looking down on average cultivators. Inside the monitoring room, two instructors watch the whole thing, wondering where this freak who easily clowned those guys came from, and if the victims are out. The head instructor says no, pointing out they never actually called for help, so their exam is still on. Meanwhile, the guy in the suit starts waking up, groaning from the pain. Holding his bruised face, he sits up and glances over to his side. He spots his rival, who immediately pushes himself backward with a scream, still completely terrified. Realizing our boy is already long gone, he gets super pissed, swearing he's never been clowned like this and vowing to hunt that punk down. Leaning against a tree, the other kid complains he never would have lost if he hadn't totally underestimated the guy. Both of them sit in silence for a second, trading some seriously awkward looks. Apologizing for his earlier trash talk, the backpack kid admits the suit guy is actually strong, and the other agrees he shouldn't have mocked him. And that's where it gets crazy. They suddenly team up for revenge, agreeing to find that exact same wooden stick to beat the kid and vent their rage. Far away from there, our MC sprints through the forest with his spear ready to go. He stops for a split second, sensing something nearby. Running straight into a pack of giant razor-tusk boars, he complains out loud, wondering just how many beast mobs he's bumped into today. Snorting and growling, the boars lock their glowing red eyes right onto our kid. Not intimidated at all, he lets out a battle cry and charges head-on into the herd. Flashing a golden light in his eyes, he gears up for a heavy assault. Then, he unleashes his technique, the swift 9 Echo Thunder Fist. Tearing straight through the mob, his spear glows with golden energy and leaves a legit trail of destruction. After wiping out the boars, our boy reflects on how he used to bag dozens of points per martial artist, but leveling up made the drops way smaller. He decides he needs to hurry up and find an actual token. Looting the boar bodies, he thinks about how the other beasts had 0 drops, and wonders if this pack is any different. But as expected, he doesn't find a single token, figuring they must only spawn inside much higher level monsters. Half an hour later, our MC is sprinting, using his spear to vault between the trees. He realizes that when he first entered, he found dozens of low-level beasts an hour, but now there's nothing. Out of nowhere, a massive black tiger with glowing red eyes leaps from behind a tree, ready to strike. With his eyes flashing blue, our boy gets hyped to finally find a high-stage rank 1 beast, a night shadow black tiger. Gathering blue energy, he focuses it right at his fingertip, and using the void-piercing finger, he fires an energy beam that hits the tiger dead on. Roaring in pain, the beast takes the piercing strike. Hitting the dirt, the tiger goes down completely defeated. Gripping his spear with both hands, our kid readies the finishing blow. In one quick motion, he puts the beast down, driving the spear right into its head, earning 35 martial points. He mentions that with his current strength, taking out a high-stage rank 1 beast is a breeze. Digging through the tiger, he hopes this high-level monster drops a token. To his relief, he finds a training token inside its stomach, though he complains it took almost 3 hours to get just one. Noticing a pattern, he realizes going deeper means facing higher-level beasts, but finding way fewer of them. He figures that even though high-level tigers give more points, seeing one every 30 minutes means farming low-level mobs at the edges is way faster. Flashing a confident smile, he decides to ditch quality and focus entirely on quantity. Stepping away from the tiger, he thinks about his 5 remaining hours to grind enough points and max out his mortal frame. Kicking off a frantic hunt, he leaves a massive trail of defeated beasts across the forest. Boar carcasses and other creatures completely cover the woodland floor. Throwing hands with a giant bear, he dodges its heavy strikes while launching his own counters. Evading a powerful swipe, he perfectly sets up his next move. Fist wrapped in flames, he celebrates finally finding a mid-stage rank 1 beast after dropping dozens of early stage ones. That fiery punch connects, sending the bear flying backward from the sheer impact. Roaring loud, the animal is left completely stunned by the hit. Leaping right at the bear's eye, our boy aims straight for the vital spot, and with a pinpoint punch, he takes the beast out, hitting it dead in the eye. Grabbing a nearby tree, he snaps it and uses the trunk to crush the bear. Shirt-stained, he stares at his fist, realizing his 60% mortal frame lets him body mid-stage rank 1 beasts with raw physical strength alone. Checking his status, he sees he racked up 254 martial points, needing only 100 more to max his mortal frame. Weapon in hand, he gears up to keep going, knowing he only has 3 hours left to grab those missing points. Suddenly, a deafening sound echoes through the woods, shaking every single tree. Looking up in shock, he wonders what kind of massive noise that was. Spotting a giant golden bird flying by, he wonders what beast it is, guessing it might be the legendary Golden Rock Beast King. Diving down at crazy speed, the bird is covered in a fiery aura that kicks up a powerful gale. Planting his spear into the dirt, our MC is blown away by the Beast King's power, which drops a massive shockwave with just one flap of its wings. That blast is so heavy it snaps a thick tree right in half, sending it crashing down. Bracing himself against a rock, our kid is left stunned, questioning what kind of monster that is. Reflecting on his recent confidence, he admits that against experts of this tier, he's basically just an ant. Right then, something in the sky catches his eye, making him super curious. He then spots a ball of light dropping straight off the giant bird. Out of nowhere, a dude wrapped in a golden aura appears, introducing himself as rank 7 Grandmaster Qin Tianli, asking the Beast King why it returned after he borrowed its territory. But the Golden Rock angrily replies it never agreed to lend anything. So Qin Tianli warns he's gonna beat the bird down until it agrees. Wasting zero time, the beast fires a massive energy beam right from its mouth. Taking the hit head on, the Grandmaster just sighs, looking completely bored by the whole thing. Complaining about the noise, he unleashes an absolutely cracked wave of power. Charging in, he drops a barrage of golden energy punches straight into the creature's chest. One heavy strike nails the bird right in the face, making it actually feel the pain. Fists clenched, Qin Tianli tells the Beast King not to make him repeat himself, ordering it to scram since he's taking the land. The beast dips while swearing revenge, but the Grandmaster just tells it to get lost for talking too much trash. Right after, the guy seems to casually absorb the surrounding energy. Floating up there, he announces his rank 7 Grandmaster title, telling the trainees to stop panicking because the exam is still on. Hiding behind a rock, our boy is blown away, wondering if this is the true power of a rank 7 human martial artist. With a dead serious look, he promises himself that sooner or later he's reaching that exact level. Meanwhile, the Grandmaster flies toward a massive crater housing what looks like ancient ruins. Qin Tianli mutters he was only borrowing the rock's turf, and the bird should have just agreed instead of forcing him to get violent. Two rank 5 martial artists, Linzai and Bai Mu, praise the Grandmaster for being way more cracked than the rumors, noting he completely crushed the Beast King's famous temper. Cutting the sweet talk, the Grandmaster calls them to the monitoring room to see who survived the rock's pressure, and they instantly agree. Checking the screens in the surveillance room, Bai Mu explains most trainees couldn't even move under the beast's aura, showing tons of them passed out. Then, Qin focuses on a feed showing the guy who killed a high-level tiger and shrugged off the bird's pressure, curiously asking for his name. Bai Mu drops the intel. It's Wang Tiantuo, a high-stage rank 1 martial artist with a special physique, and the Star City Lord's son. Laughing, the Grandmaster remembers the Lord calling kids a lottery, finally scoring a decent one after 100 tries. Next, the Grandmaster spots another kid escaping the pressure zone using some seriously slick movement skills. Bai Mu identifies him as Lin Xingxing from the Lin family, also a high-stage rank 1 with a wind attribute affinity. He then watches a girl, realizing she's a spiritual telekinetic, praising her for using her power to cancel out the beast's heavy aura. The assistant reveals that's Xiao Yan from the Xiao family, a mid-stage rank 1 telekinetic. Qin concludes those three tank the pressure easily, showing strength way above the rest. When asked about more talent, Bai Mu starts listing other names from major families. Getting annoyed, the Grandmaster asks why they're all from big families, demanding to hear about regular school students, especially from high school number 1. The assistant explains the school kids are all early stage rank 1, but Qin cuts her off, telling her to drop it since the academy doesn't live up to the hype. Suddenly, Linzai points at a monitor in pure shock, asking what the deal is with that one competitor. The screen shows our MC actively hunting vicious beasts, leaving Linzai stunned that he still has draws energy to fight after feeling the rock's pressure. Terrified and shaking, Baimu blurts out that he's the monster from Star City's High School Number 1. Scolding her, Linzi tells her not to make a scene in front of the Grandmaster and asks what monster she's even talking about. But the second Lindy checks the screen, he's left just as shook, muttering the word monster. Annoyed by their freakout, the Grandmaster reminds them they're rank 5 and have seen plenty of geniuses. Crushing a paper in his hand, he thinks they're just young and unstable. No one saw that coming. Looking at the screen, the Grandmaster's own eyes go wide as he wonders if that kid is even human. Reading Suhong's file, he's blown away by the 100% affinity for all attributes, a special physique, and a mastered rank C skill. He questions if a freak like this actually exists. Hair flying from the sheer hype, he can't believe an anomaly like this popped up in a tiny place like Star City, calling it a once-in-a-millennium talent. Eyes glowing red, he crushes the file with pure excitement, celebrating that he just hit the absolute jackpot. But he pauses, wondering why a kid with such cracked talent is stuck at early stage rank 1 with low blood chi. Standing nearby, Baimu gets ready to explain. The assistant reveals he's cultivating 7 techniques at once. Qin Tianli explodes with rage, screaming not even an immortal could pull that off, blaming the martial arts president for not explaining things properly. Right then, an instructor walks in, reporting the trainees are hitting the camp, so the Grandmaster decides to go check it out. Arriving at the spot, the top 3 talents, Wang Tiantuo, Lin Xingje, and Xia Yan greet Tin Tianli, who praises them for being pretty solid. 6 hours into the exam, the first groups arrive completely exhausted. They mention they thought they'd die, especially after spotting the Golden Rock Beast King. At the 7.5-hour mark, an instructor suggests wrapping up early, figuring nobody else is coming. Another guy adds that anyone left must be way too weak anyway. The Grandmaster, however, stresses over our MC, wondering why his anomaly hasn't shown up yet. He panics, thinking his precious treasure got lost and eliminated. But to his relief, he spots our boy walking out of the woods, grumbling that the kid finally made it. Covered in dirt, our kid thinks he barely made it in time, admitting he was so locked in on farming points he almost forgot the clock. The other competitors are stunned by his look. Wang Tiantuo mutters the guy is more ruthless than him, wondering how many beasts he bodied to get that filthy without a single scratch. From afar, those 2 guys our boy clowned earlier spot him, one saying he finally waited for him to show up. The other calms him down, noting they'll have plenty of ways to get revenge inside the camp. The 3 top prodigies watch him too. Xiao Yan finds it interesting, while Lin Xinghuang showing up at the last second is a real expert move. An instructor then announces the 8 hours are up and anyone missing is officially out. Right after, he starts breaking down the camp's facilities and rules. He explains there are main spots like the gravity training room, the movement skill training room, and the fierce beast combat room. He also hypes up the martial arts pavilion where they can trade points for skills, pills, and weapons, featuring items all the way up to rank A. Sitting in the crowd, our boy hears about rank A gear and knows coming to this camp was definitely the right call. Wrapping up the speech, the instructor warns that using any of these facilities requires racking up enough contribution points. He reveals the only way to get those points is by passing training subjects, noting that cracked performances will drop extra rewards. Saying it's getting late, he clears anyone with energy left to go train, telling the injured to follow him to the dorms so nobody dies on his watch. Now in his room, our kid is relieved to have his own space, figuring he won't have to stress about being seen while leveling up anymore. Saying he's been waiting for this exact moment, he pulls up his status screen, showing his mortal frame at 64.6% and a total of 354 martial points. Sitting on the bed, he decides to dump all 354 points at once to max out his mortal frame. So the process kicks off and red energy racks around him, while tons of mortal frame upgrade notifications pop up right in front of his face. Eventually, the progress bar completely maxes out and the 100% mortal frame evolution prompt flashes on the screen. Glowing with an intense red light, his eyes flare up as he exhales, wrapped in a massive aura while feeling his entire body transform. Our boy takes a deep breath, instantly activating all his physical power points on the spot. And that's where it gets crazy. An absurd shockwave blows up, completely shattering the bedroom windows. Dropping to the floor completely exhausted, he lets out a heavy breath to try and chill out. He smiles, completely blown away by the sheer brutal strength of his own body. Then the system pops up, revealing the sovereign body, a physique he didn't even know existed. With the spiritual grade sitting at 0%, he gets super curious about this new evolution. Jumping up fast, the kid grabs a spear to immediately test out this cracked strength. Instantly, the weapon starts cracking in his hand just from him gripping it tight. That catches him totally off guard since it's a rank C spear and it almost shattered for nothing. Groaning right away, he remembers the absolute fortune weapons like that cost. But the kid remembers he got it for free and decides to set his sights on a rank A weapon instead. He quickly wonders if he can easily farm points by wearing weighted vests. Over in the warehouse, the crowd loses their minds watching his rival lift 3 tons. Wang Tiantuo finds the weight way too light and even jumps, leaving everyone around him in pure shock. Watching the whole thing, Grandmaster Qin compares the guy's strength to an absolute monster's. Openly praising the kid's barbarian god body, he notes how easily it handles that massive weight. Stepping up, an assistant asks if they should warn Suhan about running 7 techniques at once. Qin, however, prefers to be indirect so he doesn't crush the genius's pride and make him quit. Following up, he immediately demands the night raid preparations from a subordinate. With a wicked smirk, the guard mentions the students have their guard completely down. The master orders an advanced warrior to completely body the MC just to teach him a lesson. That actually worries the guard since the power gap between those two is just insane. But the master claps back, saying if the kid's conviction breaks that easily, he's straight up trash. Outside, the crowd gets super hyped to watch Tianchuo hit the gravity room. Catching on to the commotion, our MC decides he'll go take a peek later. Near the equipment box, he snatches up a scoring bracelet. He checks out the weighted vests, ranging from a few kilos all the way to heavy tons. Completely shocked to see the heaviest one is 10 tons, he wonders who on earth even wears that. After throwing one on, he realizes the insane weight is gonna absolutely tank his speed. So he decides to grab a slightly lighter one sitting at 5 tons. Rocking the new gear, he does a few jumps around the area to test his agility. That setup feels perfect for him right now, leaving the kid pretty satisfied with his choice. Instantly, he starts wondering what kind of weight that genius trio is using for their own training. Letting his curiosity win, he heads over to spy on them and try to learn something new. Suhan arrives right as the crowd calls his rival completely inhuman for that raw strength. Hearing the machine is set to double gravity, he realizes just how cracked this whole scene is. He reflects on it, realizing he totally underestimated the limits of his own physique. Right after he spots his classmates Qin Shan and Li Tu just standing there doing absolutely nothing. And when he asks why, they confess they're too embarrassed to train around such OP freaks. Confused as hell, the kid is completely shook. They're holding themselves back over something so dumb. That doesn't faze him at all, deciding to hit the room even with the duo warning him to hold up. The crowd starts laughing at him, thinking it's ridiculous he even wants to outdo his rival. Ignoring the jokes, he walks in, fully focused on exploiting this expensive room he didn't pay a dime for. Inside, he realizes double gravity would straight up crush him in a matter of minutes. So, he sets it to just 1.5, making sure he can actually survive the session. He immediately feels that insane pressure slamming his body and lets out a heavy grunt. Meanwhile, the mob outside calls our boy weak, fully assuming he isn't even wearing a weight vest. But check this out, despite the crazy weight, his cultivation speed spikes to an absolutely cracked level. 2 hours later, the kid is still standing strong in there, even though he's drenched in sweat. Despite the obvious exhaustion, he doesn't drop his focus from the training for a single second. Just like that, his vitality shoots up to 130, while almost all his skills level up. Hyped about the results, he shuts off the machine, super eager to test out the other rooms. The kid walks out wiping the sweat off his forehead, groaning from pure exhaustion. Outside, the bullies just laugh, thinking he couldn't even handle the normal gravity pressure. Su Hong walks right past them pulling off his jacket, complaining about the heat from the weighted vest. That totally leaves those two clowns with their jaws on the floor, completely speechless. Figuring it out fast, they guess the weight must have been around 500 kilos, but they still think it's a joke to compare this rookie to Wang Tiantuo's massive strength. At that exact moment, the crowd goes wild as his rival walks out of the 6-ton room. Panting heavily, the guy gets praised for having the absolute best stamina in the whole camp. Man, right then a bunch of people jump back, spooked by the loud thud the vest makes. Ripping off his own gear, the big dude sighs in heavy relief from dropping that insane weight. Suddenly, a silver-haired kid named Lin Xingju shows up, challenging him to an agility duel. The mere mention of a rank A skill immediately gets our boy super interested. After all, he's already got raw strength to spare, so learning to move that fast is all he needs. Everyone rushes to the room to watch the silver-haired kid flex his crane steps with pure style. In the crowd, some guy comments in shock that the genius bumped the difficulty straight to level 10. Dodging a massive rain of arrows, the kid moves so fast nobody can even track him. Some girls even mock him, claiming he just wants to show off striking, useless poses. But to our MC, that looks incredible, and the system already copies 1% of the move. Glued to the scene, he locks in and memorizes every single step and movement his rival makes in there. Without thinking twice, he starts copying the exact same gestures right there in the hallway. The crowd around him notices the weirdness, totally clueless about what that random dance is supposed to be. Pretty soon, everyone bursts out laughing, finding it ridiculous that he's trying to copy a rank A skill just by watching. Yet his progress bar just keeps shooting up at an insanely fast pace. That meter spikes from 40 all the way to over 90% in a matter of seconds. And just like that, everything changed. The system announces he perfectly mastered the whole skill. Snapping back to reality, he finds the footwork kinda cringe, but it gets the job done. With the technique secured, the kid dips to the beast room to go farm some points. Glancing around, he realizes everyone is staring at him, completely stunned by that over-the-top display. Panic instantly hits our MC, praying he didn't just strike a bunch of ridiculous poses in public. A bunch of girls start fangirling over him, making the kid swear he'll never copy that dude again. Sneaking away, he spots two crazy dudes tailing him from a distance. Their plan is to jump the kid right outside the beast room and drop a massive beatdown. Inside the room, Wang Tiantua challenges the mental master Xiaoyan to a competition. The girl claps right back, saying she only wants to prove who the real camp boss is. Laughing with pure disrespect, the beefed-up guy doubts mental power can even match his raw strength. Su Hong overhears the whole chat and decides to keep watching so he can figure out her fighting style. In the blink of an eye, the girl and the giant rats start levitating in a super freaky way. That totally blows his mind, since walking on air is strictly a Grandmaster level move. Flicking just her hand, she blasts lightning-fast energy strikes all across the arena. 3 high-level tigers drop dead on the spot, leaving our boy absolutely speechless. Out of nowhere, this bizarre giant bear spawns right behind her, roaring like crazy. The beast's killer aura makes it crystal clear that this is no ordinary opponent. Catching everyone off guard, the girl completely freezes the monster in place just using her mind. Swiftly, she dashes in and slices the bear right in half with absolute precision. It finally clicks for our boy that those bright flashes were actually daggers controlled by her mental power. All that cracked power makes him see why mental masters are so feared. From the crowd, everyone is stunned when a ridiculous energy sword spawns in midair. No one saw that coming. Xiao Yan simply materializes this giant weapon to completely crush the serpent. In the blink of an eye, she charges right at the beast. The giant sword drops with brutal force straight toward the monster. That catches our boy off guard, since a weapon like that weighs tons. Holding a fan, Lin Xingge explains it's an exclusive rank A technique. Everyone gets shocked, and some guy complains that geniuses only use overpowered moves. And check this out, the silver-haired kid confirms the big guy must have a lethal strike like that too. Su Hong smiles, realizing that coming to this camp was the best choice ever. Right then, his rival blows up a beast using pure physical strength, zero magic involved. Seeing that the big dude wasn't going to use any technique, the kid decides to wait. Disappointed with his status, he notices he's missing 73 spiritual points. To become a mental master, he realizes he'll have to completely clear this place out. Those two clowns from earlier celebrate seeing him walk into the combat room. Since everyone is focused on the geniuses, they think it's the perfect chance for payback. Suddenly, one of them lets out a terrified scream and the other tells him to shut up. The problem is our boy was already surrounded by multiple beasts inside. Absolutely stunned, the bullies think the MC lost his mind. Pure panic hits them. Terrified, the kid is about to be torn to shreds in seconds. Inside, the protagonist warms up to wipe out all the monsters. And with zero fear, he challenges all the creatures to step up. A freaky snake mixed with a scorpion roars and charges straight at him. Without breaking a sweat, the kid dodges the lethal strike with cracked speed. Gathering his power in his hands, he immediately sets up a counter. Our boy straight up jumps into the mob, throwing heavy hands everywhere. Every swift move drops a massive shockwave that sweeps the whole area. Right after, multiple monsters ascend flying all at once. Through the screen, one of the bullies freezes, noticing those moves look crazy familiar. His partner instantly recognizes the silver-haired genius's crane steps. They nearly lose it, refusing to believe he picked up a rank A skill purely by watching. Fearing the worst, the first guy instantly drops any plan for revenge against the kid. But the other dude won't swallow his bruised pride and insists on payback for the humiliation. To avoid an absolute disaster, his buddy tells him to look at the monitor again. Man, at that exact moment, the bully turns ghost white. Out of pure terror, one of them even drops his weapon, entirely frozen. Taking only a few minutes, the MC had already wiped out all 11 beasts. Su Hong checks his balance and sees he bagged 81 points, finding the loot pretty low. Even so, he stays locked in to keep up the insane farm. Two massive tigers step into the room, fully ready for the kill. Sitting on a pile of bodies, he warns that this massacre has no breaks. Right then, a beast leaps with razor-sharp claws, trying to slice the kid up. Without blinking, he focuses all his power into one lethal punch. Nails the strike straight to the beast's head with a brutal impact. That shockwave sweeps the other monsters away like absolute trash. Terrified by the raw power, the giant scorpions start backing away. Eyeing the reward, he announces nobody leaves that room alive today. Our boy grabs a fleeing scorpion's tail in an instant, and with a savage spin, he smashes the monster right against the hard floor. From the outside, the duo watches the massacre on the screen with zero reaction. One of them even claims he forgives the kid, and they both sneak away quietly. Far away, the crowd hypes up the prodigies who killed almost 10 beasts each. When asked if their revenge worked, the fleeing duo plays it cool and lies. In their minds, the camp is packed with OOP freaks, and it's best to lay low. The doors swing open, and everyone rushes over to check the genius's scores. Wang Tiantuo hits 280, while the girl scores 270. That leaves everybody speechless, since it means they took down around 60 creatures. The rival also drops that he bagged an extra 100 points just for wearing the heavy vest, leaving the average folks crying over a measly 10 or 20 points in their balance. Knowing that, the crowd accepts they'll only be fighting for 4th place. Only those two bullies know the truth about the actual terrifying monster in the base. After an hour, the protagonist's training room is an absolute bloodbath. Beast carcasses are piled up in every single corner of the place. Exhausted, the kid takes a breather right on top of that mountain of bodies. Even with his OP skills, he realizes he's still far from hitting the required points. On the bright side, he racked up 700 contribution points to spend at the pavilion. Wasting no time, he heads straight to the camp's massive exchange shop. Walking in, he steps up to the clerk's counter to check out his options. The price list shows rank A skills costing a fortune, sitting above 2 grand. Luckily, the kid finds the spiritual pill's price tag way more affordable. Assuming he's weak, the woman boredly asks if he's actually buying anything. Su Hong double-checks how the spiritual boost from that pill works. Looking at the catalog, he notices the level 4 pill costs 500 points. He quickly asks for the outrageously expensive level 4 one, shocking the clerk. The woman tries to warn him about the steep price, but our boy ignores her and says he wants it anyway. And that's where it gets crazy. When the scanner chimes for his 700 points, the clerk loses her mind. Changing her tone instantly, she hands over the box while he already asks for a rank C spear. With a totally fake smile, she praises the kid and hands him the thunder and fire spear. Nighttime hits, and he heads back to his room loaded with all the new gear. Admiring the special spear, the kid really enjoys the vibe of owning such cracked items. Through the system, he sees he leveled up a ton, and today's grind was worth a whole week. Pulls the pill out of the box, hoping to finally hit that 100 point mark. Everything relies on this item dropping the exact spiritual boost he needs right now. Locked in on his goal, he swears he'll awaken as a mental master no matter the cost. Without hesitating, he downs the level 4 pill in a single gulp. Instantly, an intense light radiates straight from his chest. That freaky energy takes over his veins with absolutely terrifying force. All that nerve exhaustion fades away, making room for a really nice relaxed feeling. Lying in bed, he realizes his mental perception became insanely sharp. And with that, the kid wakes up feeling the real shift inside his brain. Shook by his status, he sees he gained an absurd 24 extra points out of nowhere. Missing a measly half point, he gets furious he didn't hunt one more beast. But since the room is already closed, his only option is to sleep and farm the rest tomorrow. By the next day, the base instructors gather around for a meeting. The vibe is totally tense, with everyone staring at the reports looking absolutely miserable. One of the big guys complains about leaving the university to babysit a bunch of rookies. Annoyed, one of the older dudes says these so-called geniuses wouldn't even stand a chance back in the day. Laughing right in his face, a guy points out Wang Tiantuo has 340 vitality. Soon enough, the circle turns into a flex battle to see who grabbed the strongest student in the camp. Feeling super down, the Mohawk dude who got our MC complains about his painfully low score. And that's where it gets crazy. They realize the so-called trash has monster-tier combat power. Showing up out of nowhere, Grandmaster Kin guarantees the system didn't mess up the math. He shuts everyone up, warning them the kid can take on high-stage fighters without breaking a sweat. Completely baffled, they can't understand how a rookie goes toe-to-toe with the elite. Sheen orders the guy to test him for real, but the Mohawk dude thinks fighting a freshman is cowardly. Furious, the master slaps him and demands he crushes our MC, showing zero mercy. Holding his face, the brute warns he won't pay the medical bills if he breaks the kid. That boss's reply is even more terrifying, clearing him for the worst-case scenario with a reward. Wasting no time, the squad rushes out to kick off the surprise attack on the base. The vibe gets heavy when night falls on the camp and the shady operation begins. Multiple masked instructors sneak through the hallways in the dead of night. Soon enough, panic sets in, with people waking up terrified and complaining about the humiliation. Inside his room, our boy was just finishing getting dressed and senses something is very wrong. Suddenly, his door gets sliced in half with a brutal X-shaped cut. The Mohawk instructor breaches the room already wielding a wicked sword in his hand. Skipping the small talk, the guy drives the blade into the floor, causing a blast that wrecks everything around. Su Hong dodges with agility and quickly assumes it's an alien strike hunting human geniuses. Clenching his fist, he immediately gets ready to trade some heavy blows. With a tight grip on his weapon, the kid stares down the invader, trying to gauge his rival's strength. But the veteran just mocks him, thinking he only caught some weak rookie as prey. That trash talk clears things up, and the boy realizes it's just a well-trained human. Man, right then he flashes a smile, feeling like the perfect opponent just arrived. Laser focused on his goal, the kid decides to farm his missing points off this guy. Watching the freshman charge in, the instructor figures the kid completely lost his mind. Except a brutal clash of weapons echoes out and the spear effortlessly locks the big guy's sword. Beyond shocked, the brute swallows hard seeing the kid packs elite tier strength. The sheer weight of the strike makes it clear that kind of power doesn't come from a normal physique. On the flip side, our boy is already used to fighting veterans and goes all out. He lets out a battle cry and pushes forward with zero mercy. And the clash is so heavy that both of them get sent flying backward by the massive force. Shaking from the impact, the Mohawk dude plants his feet and realizes he's dealing with a freak of nature. Luckily for him, raw strength isn't everything in a high-tier power battle. At that moment, the veteran's blade catches fire with some seriously intense heat. This trump card catches the kid off guard since it's his first time seeing fire magic. The enemy's weapon turns into a super dangerous flaming torch on the spot. Leaping high, the veteran taunts him and doubts the kid can tank that rank B strike. Next, he brings the sword down, launching a glowing slash straight at him. Our boy notices the pressure from this attack easily outclasses the techniques he has. Without backing down, he raises his spear crackling with lightning and tries to parry the brutal blow head-on. Clashing those two powers causes massive damage all across the bedroom floor. As the smoke clears, the Mohawk dude is seen getting shoved backward by sheer force. Unfazed, our boy remains locked in the exact same spot without a single scratch. The villain almost drops dead, seeing his lethal attack got stopped purely by cracked talent. Playing off his own panic, he claims the MC would be a real threat if he actually mastered lightning. With a smirk, the kid agrees a lightning technique is definitely missing. And this is where it gets good. He mixes real flames into the weapon's lightning just to test it out. Completely frozen, the instructor sees the wild combo and stammers that it's impossible. Panic takes over the veteran when he realizes a dual fusion is happening right in his face. Every fighter knows mixing different elements causes a super dangerous repulsion. In his mind, mastering thunder and fire together was just an untouchable myth of the gods. Giving zero time to process the shock, the boy pushes forward thirsty for the win. The weapon's tip drops fast, dragging a curse out of the terrified brood. Desperate, the guide tries launching another glowing slash out of pure panic, but that pathetic defense gets shattered by a single spin of the kid's spear. Su Hong brings his heavy arm down and nails the big guy dead on with the brutal fusion. That impact is so wild it crushes the giant veteran like he's made of cardboard. Launched by the pressure, the dude flies right through the bedroom wall like a ragdoll. Only the wreckage of that devastating strike remains in the fully busted dorm. Amidst all that dust, our boy celebrates the notification for 7 extra points. He sighs in relief, hyped to finally have enough to become a mental master. Just seconds before this humiliation outside in the supervisor area, Chin was still bragging, asking the girl to prep some lectures for the crying rookie. And out of nowhere, a free-falling body drops from the window like a rocket with no brakes. The target crashes hard right next to the completely spooked Grandmaster's shoe. Looking closely, it's that big veteran lying there completely knocked out. Both of their jaws drop, and the boss lets out a scream calling the fallen guy's name. Utterly in shock, the assistant puts the pieces together of this wild situation. After all, the rookie just clowned the expert, yet chaos is still popping off across the base. 2 fresh impacts shake the courtyard, spooking the entire leadership all over again. Right in the center, 4 massive squad members end up kissing the dirt. Walking up, the prodigies start mocking the ridiculous ambush that didn't even last a single round. That silver-haired kid strolls up right behind them, spotting the pile of fallen instructors on the ground. Laughing at the mess, they figure those guys were just way too mid to put up a real fight. but the girl defends the instructors instantly, saying the big guy over there was actually elite. Shin loses his mind thinking the trio's win makes sense, but the kid's victory is just surreal. Intrigued, the boss racks his brain trying to decode this rookie's hidden power. Suddenly, the suit guy from the cameras runs up screaming that they've got a major problem. The director immediately loses it, asking if someone died in training like it's no big deal. Panting heavily, the guy denies any casualties and drops the bomb about the skill fusion. The old man agrees on the spot, thinking that would definitely explain the win against a top-tier fighter. Except seconds later, the sheer weight of that intel hits his brain like a truck. Grabbing the suit by the collar, he demands the truth, and the guy swears this crazy story is real. He shakes all over, promising he has it on tape, and telling them to ask the beaten-up dude. With a loose grip, the master freezes in shock, confirming the dual magic was actually real. The guy freaks out, screaming that this legendary feat used to take 10 years, and our MC did it in days. Staring up at the sky in pure awe, he hypes the rookie up, calling him the living legend, Dragon. She questions if this trick is really that OP and hears that it flat out breaks the rules of reality. Confused, she asks why this god-tier power isn't being taught to everyone at the base. Shin mourns the ridiculous failure rate, since attempting it completely ruins a fighter's cultivation. But then it clicks for the guy about the kid's cracked perception and his 7 attributes. Picturing a glorious future, he sees the boy effortlessly wiping out alien emperors. To the spooked duo, fusing 2 was already a blind miracle, so 7 would be complete madness. Snapping back to focus, the old man swears to guide the MC to prevent a crime against humanity. Right then, the nerd brings up how the kid's physical strength in combat is way too abnormal. He claims his vitality surpassed the veterans, proving his physique is way better than the rivals. Completely hooked, the director plans a wild duel just to test the limits of that strength. His master plan is throwing the base's top 3 all at once, just to hunt down our protagonist. Ignoring all the gossip, our boy peeks at the courtyard mess through the hole blown in his room. Surrounded by all that trash, he sits on the floor focusing purely on his own evolution now. The system pops up right in front of him, and the kid burns all his points on mental power instantly. Taking a deep breath, the kid feels the awesome rush of finally mastering psychic energy. That insane evolution completely takes over his body, bringing out this bizarre feeling. And just like that, everything changed. Telekinesis unlocks, acting like he grew an invisible third arm. The notification hits 100.2% and he drops the aura, feeling the shift. Man, right at that moment, the kid's entire vision completely changes. Testing out the fresh power, he already starts moving the rubble around the room. Without even breaking a sweat, those concrete chunks float up effortlessly. Levitating alongside them, he celebrates finally being able to fly, just like that prodigy girl. Laser focused, the boy swears he's gonna copy her magic and the buff guy's heavy strike. The very next day, the base wakes up to an alert, ordering everyone to line up in 1 minute. Everyone dashes down the stairs so they don't lose points over nothing. Complaining out loud, they grumble about having zero peace with all these tests and that late-night ambush. Out in the courtyard, the whole crowd is already lined up sweating bullets. Su-hong steps in and adjusts his clothes, completely ready for the worst. One of the bosses looks around and notices nobody messed up the timing. Smiling, he praises the crew, admitting he thought half of them wouldn't even make it out of bed. Someone complains they only lost during the invasion because of the surprise attack, with zero warning. Mocking him, the old man asks if an alien would wait for him to put his underwear on before striking. That roast makes the crowd bust out laughing, quickly nicknaming the kid Underwear Bro. Our boy agrees with the boss, knowing full well real battles don't come with a heads up. But soon the veteran announces everyone gets a chance to prove themselves in a full test today. Another evaluator in a suit warns they'll be measuring every single detail about their skills. Wang Tiantuo crosses his arms, already knowing the top 10 will farm daily points. The crowd accepts the podium is already locked in and just tries fighting for the leftovers at 4th place. He gets super curious about what the massive prize for the event's grand champion is. Cutting the chatter, the boss orders everyone to focus up and head straight to the exam. Inside the testing warehouse, the crowd faces off against several heavy evaluation machines. Chin observes the sea of people, noticing how the OP rookie knows exactly how to blend in. In the crowd, an injured guy thinks the director is proud of him, but immediately gets embarrassed. Except our boy knows very well that investigative stare is aimed right at him. Right then, the old man announces that 1st place walks away with a rank A technique. The whole courtyard goes wild, knowing those 3 monsters are gonna fight hard for it. Xiao Yan points out a strike of that class is extremely rare even for wealthy families. Smiling confidently, the girl already imagines which mental powers she'll pick if she wins. Lin Xingye's eyes widen too, dying to lock in a perfect speed and attack combo. And our boy swears he's not letting this prize slip away no matter what. The master stares at the kid from afar, way too anxious to see the prodigy's talent in action. Calling out through the mic, he puts the genius trio up front to test right away. That spooks the rest of the crowd, trembling just thinking about being the fourth one to take the test. With a sadistic smirk, the director calls the rookie up fourth, confirming their suspicions. Some recognize him as the worst from the initial test and think the rookie is completely screwed. Gossip runs wild, assuming the order is pure humiliation just to set a bad example. First up is the raw striking test, and the silver-haired kid steps up knowing it's not his strong suit. Clenching his fist, the guy drops a heavy hit right on the meter. The machine's panel instantly beeps, clocking in 4,013 points. For a pure raw attack, the crowd thinks it's amazing, but the MC notes he doesn't hit that heavy. Except he deduces the guy's martial technique must be strong too and keeps a close watch. Lin Xingye gathers a ton of energy focused right in his palm now. He fires off his special Gale Strike going all out. This time the score jumps to 5,642. The crowd loses their minds, since hitting that mark is official rank 2 warrior territory. Low key, the system steals the move, but the MC finds the damage boost kind of mid. Acting like a show-off, the silver-haired kid taunts the girl, who just claps back with a quick roast. Soon it's Xiao Yan's turn, barely scoring 3,000 on pure physical strength. Taking a deep breath, she awakens her insane mental domain. Without even touching the machine, she launches an absurd wave of power at it. Our boy screen beeps, copying the weapon creation technique, and he celebrates the easy prize. Grinning like crazy, he wonders how many more magic skills he'll swipe just by watching. Over at the gear, the burst of mental energy shakes everything around. Xiao Yan doesn't lose focus, dropping an invisible heavy hand on the meter. That unseen strike makes the metal frame groan from the impact, and the score shoots up to 5,942. No one saw that coming. The crowd is left speechless, shocked to see her beat the wind genius without even breaking a sweat. To him, the craziest thing about this class is flying and attacking from a distance with infinite power. He projects the art of creating magical weapons right in his own mind. Waving his hand, he scraps the idea of trying to copy that right now. Su Hong realizes he can mold whatever he wants, but forging something solid drains way too much energy. So, he throws in the towel for now, since mastering that seems ridiculously hard. Today the focus fully shifts to the buff dude getting ready to hit the meter. The crowd screams, calling him the god of strength, already handing him the title. Nobody notices, but the MC just wants to measure the gap between their special physiques. Tian Tuo cracks his knuckles and warns he'll show them the true abyss of strength between them. Letting his arm fly, he drops a dry sledgehammer punch straight into the target. Right away, the crowd is stunned. The guy's raw strength almost tied his rival's magic. The old man approves the result with zero surprise, saying that was one hell of a strike. And right after, the leader tells the big brute to reveal his secret skill. He flashes that smirk, waiting to steal the strongest attack move in the base. Gathering his strength, the giant pulls a heavy aura into his clenched fist. The air gets thick when he compresses that destructive power right into his hand. Shin recognizes the bizarre attack as the Bone Flame Fist, a pure rank a trump card. Through the system, the MC gets a freebie of the exact move that cost a fortune at the base shop. That monster lets out a massive roar and throws the strike going all out. The brutal punch explodes against the machine with an insane energy boom. On the screen pops an absurd 75-34, terrifying the whole camp. But the master just laughs, figuring the buff guy's dad will cry tears of pride over that strength. Wrapping up the podium, Kim calls out our protagonist's name on the bass mic. Everyone already accepts the rookie is about to get completely clowned after such high scores. The director warns the first punch has to be raw, zero magic involved, and the kid agrees. Wasting no time, he adjusts his stance and unleashes the brutal weight of his divine physique. Taking a deep breath, he locks his eyes right on the center of the gear. Pushing forward firmly, he goes uncertain. The free technique is already in the back. And that's where it gets crazy. The meter takes such a violent hit it makes everyone tremble. The screen shoots up like crazy before freezing on a bizarre 6,551. That shatters Kin's pride, stammering a scared mother of God at the sheer damage. Instantly, the whole crowd goes dead silent, turning the courtyard into a graveyard of shock. And soon the screaming starts, with people swearing the machine finally broke from the rookie's punch. Lin Xingjae swallows his own pride, absolutely shook that the worst student packs a monster's impact. Ignoring the chaos, the boy just turns and asks the stunned boss if he can drop his technique now. Stepping back into position, he fixes his stance to finally reveal his trump card. He feels his mind completely absorb that lethal attack from the big guy. The rookie completely loves the dark power of the technique that matches his style perfectly. Over in the corner, an assistant doubts he has any good magic since he's just some random orphan. But Kin disagrees right away, guaranteeing the kid wouldn't mess around with a weak technique. Hyped up, the system prompts that the flame strike is 100% mastered at the basic level. The crowd freaks out seeing that power in his fist, completely clueless on how he copied his rival. Wasting no time, the MC adjusts his stance to test out this rank A technique, going all out. Throwing an absolute heavy punch, he just completely shatters the entire testing machine. Everyone's jaw hits the floor, screaming the damage was way worse than the big guys. And then the score locks in at 9,013, the exact level of an advanced rank 2 warrior. Shocked, the assistant swears it's impossible. But Kin realizes the absolute monster he just found. Trying to figure it out, the rival claims the kid must have over 500 vitality, but someone in the back yells the kid only has 137 vitality. The screen confirms that exact low number, leaving the staff member completely speechless. Soon the crowd starts suspecting the machine broke, since that math makes zero sense. Casually walking away from the test, the rookie catches the calculating stare of the camp director. Cutting the chatter, the master announces it's finally time for some real combat to wrap things up. It's gonna be a straight-up brawl, and the last one standing bags the ultimate reward. Right away, the Wind Show-Off raises his hand, calling out to the base master. Pointing right at her MC's face, he drops the challenge without thinking twice. His game plan is using his speed to tire the kid out, knowing his vitality is pretty low. Except Kin shuts him down instantly by denying the request, leaving the guys super confused. No one saw that coming. The leader orders all 3 geniuses to attack the rookie at the exact same time. That completely offends the veterans, and the big brute even jokes about accidentally taking him out. Ignoring all the drama, the director asks our boy, who casually accepts the whole fight. Tuo just laughs at the audacity, swearing he'd easily body the kid all by himself. With everything set, the master officially kicks off the massacre across the whole courtyard. All 3 of them charge the protagonists together like some perfectly synced team. Xingjae tries relying on his agility for a hit and run, thinking he's basically invisible in the ring, but his partners instantly panic, screaming at him to dodge right out of the way. Freezing up in doubt, the speedster blinks and our boy is already right in his face. With a cold tone, the MC just says his goodbyes and throws a punch, showing zero mercy. That fist, fully loaded with pure energy, heads straight for the rival's terrified face. And man, that impact is so brutal it launches the poor guy across the arena like a ragdoll. Completely wrecked on the floor, he warns the crew that the kid's speed is just flat out absurd. Right after, the MC feels this bizarre weight locking his body down with an annoying mental trick. Staring down the leftover duo, he figures out his game plan has to change right now. Without a second thought, he charges straight at the magic user to wrap this up fast. Backing up instantly, she relies on her speed technique to dodge such a direct assault. That totally leaves the guys in shock, realizing the rookie is rocking 2 different skill types. Charging in, the giant yells at his ally to lock the kid's mind down while he strikes, pure rage in his eyes. The big dude charges his best flaming strike right into his fist, but our boy isn't backing down, prepping the exact same monstrous technique for a counter. Right then, the girl throws both hands forward and drops a solid invisible prison right on him, stuck dead in his tracks. The kid admits taking hits for mental power is actually a huge problem. Spotting a golden opening, Zinke leaps out of nowhere and drops a heavy revenge kick. Up in the stands, Kin actually regrets tossing 3 freaks into such a rigged challenge. He figures defeat is guaranteed, until he catches that super confident smirk on the kid's face. Surrounded from every angle, this really looks like the end of the line for our boy. And just like that, everything changed. He flares his energy and shatters the mental prison with pure brute force. The backlash bounces the damage back to the girl, who coughs up blood, completely shook by that raw power. Instantly, the giant sledgehammer punch just stops midair like it hit a solid brick wall. Opening his hand, he completely locks down the brute's deadliest punch without even flinching. Without missing a beat, he raises his other arm to flawlessly block the silver-haired kid's flying kick. The crowd goes wild, calling the dude a literal monster for canceling out 3 OP attacks with just raw strength. Spinning around, the MC locks onto Zinji's wrist with a grip like a literal pair of pliers. Following up, he yanks the heavy fighter's arm, locking him in the exact same freaky hold. Terrified, the silver-haired kid lets out a totally genuine scream of pure panic. Showing zero mercy, our boy spins both dudes in the air like they're just a couple of potato sacks. Shocked, the buff dude curses, fully aware his absolute worst humiliation is just kicking off. Smiling at the danger, he turns those cocky rivals into a pair of living, breathing human clubs. Then he straight up smashes both of them against the concrete floor, blowing up the whole court with the impact. Collapsed on the cold ground, Tiontul barely has the energy to groan about that colossal beatdown. The other guy ends up face-planted and completely knocked out cold by the brutal throw. Nobody in the stands even dares to make a sound after witnessing that absolute massacre. Whispering about the sheer brutality, they watch the dust settle to reveal the champion standing completely unharmed. Tossed into the rubble, those geniuses completely lose every single drop of pride they had left. Still holding on to them after that massive slam, our boy lets out a light sigh. Gearing back up, he sets his sights on finishing this massacre for good. But when he turns to the magic user, she curls up and screams she's tapping out before taking a hit. It finally clicks for the whole crowd that this loner rookie is the most cracked freak in the base. Right after, the boss demands silence and asks if anyone brave enough wants to try and steal the throne. To absolutely nobody's surprise, the crowd steps back, knowing only a crazy person would fight him now. Making it official, the leader crowns Su Hong as the absolute king of the camp and wraps up the tournament. Pulling the champ aside, he tells him to go pick out that highly anticipated rank A skill from the vault. Grinning like crazy, the kid smiles knowing his OP arsenal is just getting bigger by the second. Over in the corner, Kin admits he's been watching him for a while and asks why he stays so low-key. Straight up, the rookie explains that a strong nobody becomes an easy target if they try to flex too early. Laughing at his honesty, the master totally agrees and admits he set up that whole show just to help him out. Chin promises to play the kid's guardian from here on out so he can fight without holding back. Over at the sacred library, the director asks the librarian for the exclusive list of techniques. Browsing the options, he gives him free rein to pick, but the MC asks for some solid advice instead. Trying to grasp his fighting style, Kin asks what he already knows, and the kid lists every OP skill he copied. The old man's eyes pop out of his head, realizing he memorized forbidden magic just by watching it once. This is where it gets good. Breathless, the master just accepts he's staring at the greatest human anomaly on Earth. So drop a like on this video for the next part.